Put my little microphone down. Hello, hello. Hey,
So
hey.
we're going to talk. Where's that? Where the notes at?
I don't know where your notes at, but we live.
We're live.
Welcome. Look who we have here.
Hey, I'm here.
We have a special guest host. Normally you are where?
I'm in the back, and now I'm in the front. Usually I'm in the back, and now I'm in the front.
What is that? That's the Lord.
That's the Lord.
He done brought you from the back to the front.
Right on up. He moves you right on up.
And where you gonna be next week? In the back
back
again? Huh? He'll rearrange some things.
This is Beyond.
Beyond the Surface. Thank you all for coming and tuning in. Beyond the Surface. Didi said, welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Say hi. Say hello.
5 minutes for we get people to come on in.
Come on in the room.
Come on in the room.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hey, Katrina. Y'all had a lot of traffic down there in Cape May County this weekend. My Lord Jesus. It was packed. I seen some of the pictures. Come on in the room. We talking marriage today. Oh, you like my glasses? You see me? Thank you.
I'm going to share this too.
Thank you all for coming in and tuning in. Come on in the room. Say hi. Say hi. We have special guest host here, Mr. Colson, here on Beyond the Surface with Sharen. He made himself, what had happened was, when I was doing the making the schedule, Mr. Colson here, so I'm like, reaching out to people. Hey, Jimmy, I'm reaching out to people and saying, hey, would you like to be on such and whatever? And Ron here took one of my dates and took his thumb and slid through it and wrote his name on it. Wait, where's the paper at? He put his name as Dr. Ron Colson. He wrote his name as Dr. Ron. So the doctor of, what are you the doctor of?
I'm the blessed man.
You the doctor of the blessed man?
No, just Dr. Me.
Dr. Me. Yes. Hello.
No, we just here today.
Hey.
Had a couple audio difficulties in the beginning, but we are here.
We gonna press through.
Yes, we're gonna press through.
Yeah.
On Beyond the Surface with Sharen.
I'm
excited.
Episode 4.
This is the first time I've been as co-guest.
You co-host, sir.
Okay, co-host. On this day, we're talking about marriages.
Yes.
How important marriages is. Marriage, myths, and realities.
Yes.
Because some people got it twisted.
Get to the nitty-gritty.
All right, because we got some experience.
Lots of experienced people.
And we got
that we have as guests.
We want you to share with us some comments.
Good evening, Paula. Hey, Rosemary.
That you want to say?
Yeah, so
drop it in the comments.
Share the page if you can. So bring some folks in, if you would. So we're talking marriage myths and the myths and realities of marriage. Like a lot of people kind of have, some magical things that they think happens in marriage, and that's really not the realities once you're married. So we have some special guests, as you guys seen on the flyer. We have the Williams with us. The Williams, how you say it? Williams? I don't know. The Hagemans. And the who?
Yeah, we have. Kevin,
who left?
Kevin and Candy.
The Boyds.
Steve.
The Boyds. Yes.
What are the names?
He's bad with names, so I'm not even going to do that to my people. Steve and Sarah. It's the Reverend. We got the Reverend Bishop. He's been a Reverend Bishop all his life. Listen, since grade school, carrying the Bible. If you want to know if the rapture happened, you go find Stephen Boyd. And if he is still here, you are safe. You're safe. I'm telling you, if the rapture, if you questioned it, remember I questioned it that one time. I ran outside. What was? Oh, it was the earthquake. The earthquake happened, and I ran outside like it was the rapture, and I ain't see nobody else outside but me. I ran out the door, and it was just me, and I was like, oh my God, they left me. I'm here. What was that movie? Remember?
It was the Lost Behind.
Behind. Yeah. I thought I was on Behind, that movie Behind that was happening before.
But this is your show. So far, this is episode 4.
Episode 4.
On Beyond the Surface with Sharen.
Yes.
And we're having these guests. So the first week,
the first week we had Reverend Nikki on, and she talked about our assignment, and she told us to don't fight our fears, and that we should find out where fear resides, and that we should pull up on it. So if you want to go back and watch that episode, please do. It's episode 1. It's available on YouTube. Episode 2, we had Jen Owens, who was here. She was our resident therapist at this point. I have appointed her. And we had talked about boundaries, and she let us know that it was not about changing other people. It was about changing ourselves. And she gave a great word and some therapeutic advice for like childhood trauma and how to navigate that stuff, even like with your kids. So if you want to go catch up on that episode, that is over. Oh, it is called Left Behind, Mommy said.
Left Behind. Okay.
It's that's over on YouTube too. So it talked about, setting boundaries, and that's consequences, expectations are set, and then you communicate correctly. Episode 3 was the singles. Y'all seen the folks on there. Singles, dating, the cesspool, and all of that.
They left a good word. They had a lot to say.
They said it was a law of attraction. You attract what you want.
Yeah.
But you got to go to those places.
Yeah. So we're here to help somebody.
Yeah. You here to help somebody.
Here to help somebody. Show somebody, give somebody a little bit of our experience.
Yes.
In our life.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna try to get this thing in and get out your way.
Oh. don't be like the reverends who be like 5 more minutes and then it's 30 more minutes. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that to the people. We're gonna try to be as honest and
let's bring on our
and as we can. I can hear you. My God.
Good evening.
All right. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, Miss Nina. Fine. Look at Aaron. Come on, Aaron caught us live. So we have first up.
Be powerful.
We have
Be powerful.
Jamie and Chelsea.
Prolific.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
How are you? Want to introduce yourself to the audience?
I'm Chelsea. This is Jamie.
Ooh, it's gonna be a live show. Yeah. Chelsea Williams. Very nice to meet you all. My husband, Jamie.
How are you?
Oh boy. Someone in the
Who
back.
that in the back?
Charles is in town. Charles is in town.
Oh, hey, sis.
We thought that was the maid.
I thought it was the maid.
Yeah, I wish he would.
Charles. Hey. Okay.
Charles
Okay, so how did you want to say how long you've been married and how you met?
Been married, it'd be 20 years.
this year.
Yeah. How we met?
Woo.
We knew each other actually before we started dating because we were both from Willenboro.
Burrow.
And we we met each other. Was it junior high or high school?
We knew each other in junior high.
Mm-hmm.
We were in class in high school.
Yes, okay.
And then you chased me down at Bethany Baptist.
He chased you down.
He chased you down. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's how it
That's what happened.
You a lot of chasing.
A lot of chasing.
Yeah. No, so it's crazy. I've been at Bethany. It's almost 30 years. It's almost 30 years. And her family had this one. They was looking for a new church, and they were looking around. They fell in love with Bethany, and Chelsea was in college.
Yeah.
So she came home. Like, I don't know if it was smer or
Came on for a weekend, and they said, we're going to go to Bethany. We're going to go check it out. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I'm walking around for offering.
I'm like, I was gonna order. I'm like, Lord, the Lord is my shepherd. He know what I want.
That offering strut.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
he said that wasn't the same girl from show choir.
Yeah, so we exchanged information, and here we are. That was back in '97.
So total 27 years together.
Oh
but
my
married
gosh.
20.
Yeah.
Wow. God bless. God bless you, Chelsea, and your angel wings you have on that the Lord gave you for.
I gotta be getting into
He's
heaven.
our
I
best
gotta
friend,
be.
so you gotta leave him alone.
Yeah.
Next couple.
Next up, we have Boom. Hey.
Candy Cat.
It's the Candy
What's
Cap
up, everybody?
Show.
Woo woo. How y'all doing?
I mean, we good.
We good.
We hanging
You
in
guys
there.
want to introduce yourself? Tell us about you.
Well, hello there. It's Candy and Kev. We have been married for 30 years this year.
My God.
That's a long time to put up with
You
that.
said
dude.
30 years?
30 years.
Wow.
Jesus.
We've known each other since our teens, since about 13.
Yeah.
Right. Since Kevin was about 13. And we met through church.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was in our churches were in the same fellowship, and so he was friends with my brother. I didn't know who he was, but he said he was friends with my brother and my brothers, and I was kind of like, my brothers didn't let me be friends with any guy, so that was that. And then when my brothers left town, he like, hey, how you doing?
So the crazy thing is I didn't know that they had a sister. So
That's how much they kept me hidden.
yeah, I didn't
Just
even
hit her in
know
the
that.
pocket.
It wasn't until we started dating and she said, well, you know, such and such is my brothers. And I was just like, and you know, history.
And they took him into the deep woods down south.
What?
They had a conversation with him.
And I told them in the words, you know who I am, man.
Pull up on me?
Yeah, you
No,
know who
they
I
really
am.
did. They really did take him into the deep woods down south.
And then I said, I ain't do that with my sister with you. There's one of them dated my sister.
Oh, one of them dated your sister.
Yeah.
And you guys, 30 years. So it's 30 years married and how long together?
Oh, 30 years. It'll be 30 years this year married. I would say close to 40 years of knowing each other.
40?
40 years of knowing each other.
Knowing each
Knowing
other.
each other. Okay. Okay.
Oh, y'all
Well,
done known
we
each
were
other
only
longer than
together-
everything.
Our courtship was very brief.
Yeah.
We started dating on August the 28th, 1993. I officially became this guy's girlfriend. And then the next year in November, we got
We
married.
got married. Yeah.
Oh, that's good time. When you know, right, Kev?
Well, yeah, you know, I
Unless
realized
you force your hand. She didn't force your hand, did she?
she didn't. She didn't.
Yeah.
We'll get into it when I realized I knew she was my wife. I was like, you know what? I got to do this now because if I don't do it now, it ain't going to happen.
But when he actually did propose to me, it was very anticlimactic. It wasn't dramatic or anything. And I was like, okay.
Okay, let's do this.
That's exactly how it went. Were you there? I was like, okay, let's do this.
All right, let's move on.
My God, y'all pray for me. He is pushing these buttons over here with this music. Can y'all hear that?
No.
No.
Y'all don't hear it. Thank you. I'm so glad
Yeah,
y'all
that
don't.
fanny pack.
Listen, he got the tool for everything. Next we have on the stage
All
the
right.
Reverend Bishop, Lady
Hello.
Pastor
Hello.
Steve, Lady Sarah Boyd, my folks.
All
tonight.
right.
How are you?
Good. Good. Glad to be
Yeah,
here.
thank you guys for tuning in, coming on.
Thank you for asking us. Yes.
So you want to tell us about your marriage? How long you've been married? You got kids, my cousins.
Yeah. So we've been married for 12 years. Actually, last Sunday was our anniversary for 12 years, and we've been
Awesome.
together. We've been together 13 years and some change. Yep.
2 boys.
Yeah, we got two sons, 10 and 6.
10 and 6. Awesome. And you guys have a church. You want to introduce your church to the folks?
Yeah, so we just started pastoring in January. We launched out and established Holy Ghost Tabernacle.
Holy
Yep.
Ghost Tabernacle. That sound like a lot of Holy Ghost in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Pentecost
That's what
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
every Sunday. You said, "Oh yes." Come on.
Where's it at? Where's it located?
But tonight
We're online right now. Yep.
you're online.
Yeah, right now.
Okay. So we'll try to get you guys to put your church like link and stuff in the chat. Oh yeah. I seen Sarah do that. So you want to put your link in the chat for the folks so they can tune in. But we appreciate you coming in because I know a lot of times people see you as a pastor and see Sarah as a first lady, but they don't see you like as a married couple and not just outside of your title. So
Yeah.
how do you guys like navigate your marriage of I'm not Pastor Steve right now and I'm not Lady Sarah, I'm just Steve and this is my wife and we do like real couple stuff.
Well, I can truly say that it took time for us to get there. You know, that didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
That was actually the conflict that we had in our marriage, where we didn't know how to separate the two.
That's
And
real.
and that's what caused us to grow. And we're here today because of that conflict. And now we know that, you know, you got to separate church and home.
Church and home, because I know for a lot of people, they'll put the church first and then they don't put their family first.
So true.
So Candy and Kev, do you guys have like some experience with that? With the church goes first and then your marriage is second, not particularly yourself, but I'm just asking, curious.
So it's funny. No, the reason why we was laughing, we have a jerk on the line that was calling me, named Jamie
was
Williams,
calling Kevin.
was calling me as we were listening. So,
Sorry.
yes, so that's why we were laughing or trying not to laugh. So, but we do have experience in that area. My father was a pastor for over 20 years, and you know, being involved with his ministry, and sometimes it was times where, you know, I don't want to say lines were crossed, but
I hated being a part of the first family, period.
It was a difficult space sometimes, because, you know, being a PK kid, sometimes, you know, and being the youngest of 4 siblings and being the baby boy,
Right.
sometimes it was difficult to navigate through. Okay, Dad, I need to take time to be with my wife. Church is secondary, and for me, my marriage is first priority. And
That's
because
right.
we were young in our marriage, sometimes, and I wanted to please my father, sometimes I would sacrifice that, not understanding that it was a detriment to our marriage. So
Yeah, it was a detriment to our marriage.
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. And then there was times where she did the same thing. So I don't want, you know, she would put certain things first, and I'd be like, you know what, I don't want to see Evangelist Candy now, and I want to see stripper Candy for right now. I don't want, you know, I want to
No, don't block them, Candy. We want to hear what's going. We want to hear.
I don't want to see you in the robe. I want to get what's in the robe. So it
Right.
was where, you know, certain things we had to kind of, you know, we had to navigate through.
There were times we in our marriage, you know, so Kevin was the deacon and I was the preacher, and I had to stop him. I had to not allow him to introduce me. We went to our headquarters church, our organization's headquarters church.
Okay.
And his introduction kind of went like, in brief, yeah, so I know my wife, she studies the word and she can rightly divide the word of God. However, and I respect her when she's in this pulpit. However, when she steps out of this pulpit,
Right.
That I'm Big Daddy. She calls me Big Daddy. I respect her in the pulpit.
I didn't say
you did.
No, I said Big Daddy back in charge. And the thing is,
You said what?
Big Daddy back in charge. The reason why I do that is because one thing you'll find out about me is I don't put on fronts or put on airs for people. Even presiding bishops, I respect them in their titles, but I'm always going to be genuine who I am. So
Right.
you're going to always get the authentic Kevin. So I'm going to say what I would say. I'll say what I say here, what I'll say in front of a bishop. Like, that's just who I am. Like, so for me, if you want to have me do an introduction, I'm not going to try to change who I am to appease people. And I think that's what's wrong sometimes with people in the church. They want to metamorphose into someone else in front of people, but yet they're married to someone. So for me, it was just, that's who I am. That's who I was always going to be. And if I got to introduce her now, I'll do the same thing.
And you know, we have at the time our kids were younger. They're adults now, but to the point that what does that say? That doesn't say the same. Oh, I can't see their name. Steven. I'm like, that is Paula. Who's the first couple, Stephen and Sarah, maybe.
Yes,
right?
Stephen and Sarah.
What they were saying. So we kind of knew how it felt to kind of have to play second fiddle to the church in some instances. So with our kids, we still took our kids on vacation. I functioned kind of sort of like the assistant pastor at his dad's church. And but we still went on vacation. We still let the kids know that they were first for us. We didn't want them to grow up and hate church.
That's right.
That makes sense. Jamie and Chelsea, you want to aren't you a PK, Jamie? How did your family and your, well, you know what they say about PKs.
That part.
Well, we got 2 of them. That's right. PK too. And we got a preacher, so we got all of them.
Well, I am ordained. Oh, you was talking about Steve. I got my online. I have my online minister.
Yeah,
I forgot bedside.
I'm saying Bedside Baptist.
that's
I'm not. That's not your church, though, Steve.
With us, it was more so. I think a lot of times we grow up saying that ministry and the church is kind of equal and congruent with God, and they're really not. They're not the same thing. It's really so. Yes, the hierarchy is going to always be God and our family, but a lot of times when we say God, we think it's church and what we're doing inside the church. So
right.
with and it's not. So we're always going to keep God first. But my house is. I always say, if you're spending 6-7 days a week at the church and your kids are failing out of school, you're out of order.
Right. Out of order. I like it.
And if I'm coming home and my house is messy or my bills are not being paid, but I'm sowing all these seeds. So I'm gonna get in trouble with these pastors. I'm sowing all these seeds, but my bills aren't paid.
No, that's real though. That's what we're here. We're here to give the truth, the reality.
You're out of order. So I just learned that I had to, because I learned from my father, like putting the family first and ahead of ministry and not ahead of God.
So how do you balance that? You say no at church?
Well, see the thing. Well, y'all, the only people that really don't know me here is probably Sarah and Steve. I'm a musician. I've always been a musician. So and like Mo said, both know I'm a paid musician. So the rehearsals and stuff. Yes, I have to be at church when I'm required to be there. But I have a lot of friends that are pastors and they're involved in the church. Hey, you want to come? Like, no, I don't want to come to your service. I really don't. My requirement to be at church is already enough for me to be at church as a musician. That I don't do a lot of. You don't see me at joy nights and all that other stuff that's going on.
You really don't.
You're not. So if you're out there, just don't ask me. No, I'm not coming.
Don't invite me to your joy night. I think a lot of times that's like a weird balance in church where you kind of feel obligated to go to church and serve on all the ministries, but then you are lacking at home where you, like you said, you come home late at night and then you leave for work in the daytime. Then you come home, you don't have time to, not control your house, but help your house with the chores and kids and homework and cooking and cleaning before you're back out. Go ahead, Chelsea.
But that's also where that church burnout comes from. I mean, you're doing so much in there. You're on a choir, you're playing, you're ushering, you're doing all this stuff. And it's great. If you can do it and still balance your life at home, then all praise be, whatever. But for most people, you got to be able to say those two little letters. No, I'm not doing it. I say it to him all the time. You're not doing it.
Right.
And the thing, there's an important word that I think we misunderstand the definition is balance, right? Because a lot of times we want to think that balance is doing things equally on both sides. And that's really not balance. That's tension, right? So when I'm trying to keep this equal amount of time at the church and equal amount of time at home to keeping the 50-50, that's not balance. That's creating tension in my life. Because it's sport. So I had to learn that when there's revival time coming around, like Bethany, we had a power of God. I know that my time at home is going to go down. Time at church, but rest assured, as soon as power of God is over, I'm being delivered. So balance is more of a fluid thing and not trying to keep things tense and 50-50.
So should it be 50% or should your house be a little bit more 65, 70?
It depends. It depends. Sometimes I'm going to be spending more time at home, and then sometimes I'm going to be spending more time at church. But I'm being very deliberate about the time that I have at home. Like, okay, I'm home, babe. What you want to do? That's right. And then understanding, hey, and then I know we're gonna get into this a little later, but communicating. But we've been together so long, she knows my flow. She's like, okay. So when something's going on at church, she knows my time is going to decrease at home. Like I'll come home for church and the trash is taken out, because she just knows, like, okay, this is a busy time for him, so I'm going to help him out with the things that he normally does.
But that also goes into I'm his helpmate. I'm supposed to anticipate his needs just like he's supposed to anticipate my needs. So if he is that power God and he's there 6 days a week and I don't have to go to all the services, I'm gonna make sure, number one, yeah, he has a hot plate at home. Whatever responsibilities he was supposed to be doing, I got you, because I know that you got me when I need you.
So you were saying something? Who was it?
Yeah, you know what, and Jamie said something, and I'll probably get in trouble with pastors, but you know a good leader when they allow you to have balance. Well, not I don't even want to say balance. I can't say that no more now, Jamie. Thank you. But you understand that home life is very much important. So if you never have a struggle where it's like, okay, I need to do something with my wife, or I need to do something with my family. It's never that pullback. Well, I need you here. If a pastor says they need you here after you explain to them you need time with your family, then you might want to look for another leader.
Yeah, that's right.
I never forget, I was on a ministry at a particular church, and something happened. And with this particular ministry, one of the requirements was you walk the office staff to their car, right? So I was like, it's okay. I'm a gentleman. I can do that. But my wife had to go out in the rain, and the office staff had to go out in the rain, and it was expected of me to neglect my wife and take those individuals. And I was like,
God have mercy.
I was like, they're gonna walk by themselves because
so that was his last day on that.
It was going to be on your head if you walk somebody else.
This is the thing. This is the thing. As a husband, she didn't have to tell me that.
Right.
The pressure wasn't from her. She didn't even know I resigned that particular moment, because I was like, you know what? I'm never going to put another female or another male, for that matter, in front of my wife for the sake of ministry, because automatically that's already showing discord right there. So I think it's definitely important for us to set expectations and set a standard that, like, you know what? If you let people know this is how I operate, regardless of what's going on in the structure of how you run your organization or whatever, then they're going to respect it. But if you just go with everything that they tell you to do, then they're going to do what they want.
And then as we give the benediction on the church part, I think for me, I was in a unique situation where, like, my husband is all man all day, and he's not like a yes man this, yes man that, ma'am that. So I had to understand my role in church versus my role at home. So in church, I was in leadership, but I couldn't take that out of the pulpit or out of the sanctuary and try to do that in my home. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had to still give him his respect as the head of our house, and so I think that sometimes female preachers have a hard time navigating. Okay, you have that leadership role in church, but you can't bring that home, because then your man is it's going to cause problems, cause problems in the marriage. So I was very much like, in the time that I'm in church, I have to be in charge, whatever. But after that, I'm like, you in charge. What do you want to eat? What you want to eat? I don't want to have to make decisions. And I was perfectly fine with that. But sometimes there are husbands, and I thank God that my husband wasn't like that. He didn't give me a hard time about being in that role. But some female preachers or some female pastors do struggle with that, like their spouse is kind of fighting them on it because of what Jamie and Kevin was talking about, that lack of balance, tension and not balance.
You wanted to say something, Steve?
I was just going to say that was my proclivity. I was a yes person.
It was your what?
My proclivity.
Come on.
And
that's what I need.
Listen, I'm trying. That was my thing. So I was always the yes person, but God gave me my wife because she helped me to not always say yes. She was the person in my ear, like, Captain, no, you ain't saying yes to that.
Right.
We need you here. And so I always say, God sometimes don't give you what you want. He always give you what you need. And he knew I needed a woman that would, say, all right, you gotta come on and put us first. You gotta come on and do this, and stop saying yes to everybody. And so I thank God that, even as we established our own ministry, we made it a important thing. And that's one of the core of our ministry, is making sure that families are first, and making sure we make time for families. I'm not having no bunch of services no more. I don't care who it is. We get Sunday and Bible study, and that cut it. If I got a preaching engagement or something, then I'm really trying to hone myself on that, because I don't want and as everybody was saying, I don't want my kids to grow up and hate ministry. They're 6 to 10, and I want them to love God just like I love church,
Yeah. And a lot of that is balance, not even just at church, it's just balance with, you know, if your husband is doing something and like Chelsea said, if they go on vacation or they come home from traveling from work, you kind of want to give them that balance at home, not only at church. Like I know Ron has a lot of people that he talks to and people want him to go and do stuff. And I say, no, you are tired, you're exhausted, you've worked 2 doubles and 6 days a week. No, you don't have time. So I think like Sarah, you kind of have to be that person for your husband, like your husband is that to the wife. It's the balance there to be like, okay, well, you don't have time for that, or let's not do that at this moment because you know you're exhausted and it's too much for you and for your relationship. That's kind of like you cover each other.
Mhm.
So can we talk about love languages?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk.
Go ahead and talk about it.
So I know there are 5 love languages, and I know people kind of harp on. Did you write them down? Nope. Okay. So I know you did. I lost them. They in the kitchen. So I know there are 5 love languages, but I like to think of other things as love language because I don't have the traditional love language for me. My love language is family and snacks. So I know there's like quality time and touch, and I know like fellas are like, you know, the touch is their love language, but the physical. That's right. See, so that's what I'm saying, which is beautiful. But do you guys know your love languages? We'll start with you, Steve.
Physical touch.
Your love language. Is that your love language or that's
That's
do
mine.
you know your wife's love language?
Gifts
Gifts.
and quality time. And quality time.
And a smack
Okay.
every now and then.
That is correct. He answered right.
Yeah.
Kenny and Kev.
His love language is the intimacy and the touch, meaning that's what he likes.
Mm-hmm.
What do I like?
She likes affirmation.
She likes what?
Affirmation.
Affirmations.
Yeah,
I
she
can see
likes
that.
So it's so funny because at first, earlier in our marriage, when we were younger, he thought it was gifts, and then he realized he could buy me whatever, and I still wasn't like, yeah, it's not it for me.
So I saved my money and just started complimenting her.
And I started buying what I wanted. I wanted to buy myself.
Huh?
You said you saved your money and just started giving her affirmations.
Absolutely. Just keep so.
I like it. Jamie and Chelsea.
She says she likes it when I smack her on her butt. Am I lying? Did you not do it?
That's how I know we will.
Yeah, she's right. It's weird because when we're arguing, she knows that if I don't smack her on her body when she walks by, she knows that I have a problem with that.
There's something going on.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, just a little, you know. Oh, all right.
Right.
Good. Love you too. What's yours? I mean,
I'm easy. I'm just as long as I have peace in the house, I'm good.
well, then that's
Yeah.
easy. That's easy then. It's always peace in the house. Then.
Yeah, I'm easy.
You said you're easy.
I would like to think so.
I'm one of the homies, and I don't even believe that. I'm like,
I don't believe that.
I'm like, I don't know.
Jamie is very special. Let's just put it that way, and not in a bad way. I mean, he doesn't demand a lot, but what he does require, I have no problem fulfilling. And I'm not talking about anything like nasty or anything. I'm talking about, you know, his favorite foods. Like I know if fall is running around and we're transitioning from summer to fall, my baby needs sweet potato pies. I mean, there's certain things I do, and I want to make sure I anticipate what he needs, and that goes back to something else I said. But anticipating his needs, that's
Yeah.
That's what I said. Jen Owens put up the 5 love language: service, physical, affirmations, gifts, and time. But that's what I believe. Like Jamie, there are other love languages that exist because I'm not really for those ones. Gifts, time.
I mean, the main ones. I mean, you have physical touch,
It's here.
quality time, right?
Mhm.
But well, this is just fine. Yeah. But I mean, it's an acts of service. I mean, what is mine?
You are physical Physical touch. Physical. A lot of physical.
What you mean?
A lot of physical touch.
Okay.
A lot.
Is that? But that's not the main thing. See, like I didn't realize what hers was. She first,
Your main one is physical touch.
She asked me, "What is my language?" And I was stuck. I was like, "What you talking about, girl?" She talking about some your language, love language. I was like, so then I had to think about it. I was like, what is it that that makes her happy? What makes
what makes
and then because I didn't really realize it. And like you said, I know you do love words of affirmation. You also, but you're into family.
I am.
She loves family. So I know anything that has to do with family, I know it's gonna be I'm gonna win.
Hey, bring my family over.
Bring family over.
I got you.
Win.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a holiday, don't got nothing.
No.
Whatever. So I know that's your love language. So I know that's what makes you
Crabs. Is crabs a love language?
What's that, Deanna?
Crabs a love language.
Did Deanna say that?
Jesus.
I'd be okay with it. If you put me some crabs on the deck, I would be as happy.
She's happy.
Is that gifts? I guess that's gifts, right? Is that considered gifts?
Yes,
That's gifts.
Yeah. So I think everybody likes a bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think everybody likes a bit of everything. You know what I mean? But at the same time, but everybody has their own special ones that really make their
and it's important to give your spouse what they want and not what you want. That's the important part.
Right.
Well, that's
Because
good.
I used to give him what I liked.
Right.
And I'd be like, hey, I'm inviting people over. And he was like, I don't really don't want these folks in my house. And I was like, I have a family. Come on. And he's like, no.
What's going on? So I would say, like, for all those, for our listeners and our viewers and stuff like there. So when I asked about what the love language is, it says for everyone that understands, your love language is not only, I wrote down some notes here and there. I did a little study here and there. I did
Go ahead.
So your love language is not always theirs. Okay. So you may think that your spouse wants gifts, but really, she wants quality time. So it's very important to hit her, to manage and to show her, to find out what her love language is. Because if you give her gifts and stuff there and she wants quality time, then you're wondering what's wrong. Why are you not accepting this gift? What? You're not accepting this gift the way I gave it. You give it to your lover. You should.
It seems like rejection.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
we often miss it, with our love because we lack that. It comes into like communication too.
Yeah, because you're not giving it specifically to that person of what they would like.
So you got to have these conversations. You have to have these conversations with your spouse and stuff there because you love your spouse the way she or he wants to be loved. Not the way you want to love them,
right?
But the way she wants you to love her, okay? Because if we go by how we want you to love us, shoot, we sit back every day.
Yeah, you be having somebody running around naked all day in the house. It's really not the realities.
And to add to what
Kev had a comment.
And to add what Ron was saying, also I realized after being married for 30 years, those love language change over time. And you to adjust to what the change is. So don't be afraid of your love language begins to change, because what might be important to a person in 5 years, 10 years now, they might need something else from you. So love languages should be interchangeable, or should be able to change, and you should be able to adapt to that change. So I think that's important with the love language.
That's good.
Like with I think I never ever thought I would ever say this out of my mouth, but in one area I think Jamie and I are similar, because when I was thinking about, I never thought I would ever say that. But when I was thinking about what Chelsea has said, and I've heard her say this a couple of times, anticipating needs, one thing I can say about that is, and so I'm with you, Sharen. I don't know where this falls in under these 5 languages, but when Kevin, so like when I'm thinking about the gifts, if there's something that I need or something that he may see, stuff like I have on, I don't know, a blouse and I pop the button, I don't know, something, and he just goes and gets it because he anticipates, like, if he knows I need to wear a certain color for a thing and I'm like, I can't figure out something, he'll leave the house and just come back with it. To me, it's kind of like that, anticipating a need, not making a big thing over it. Or, there was a time I was out at a function and my heel broke on one of my favorite pair of shoes, and he just randomly just bought me shoes. And kind of like, he's like, I know you're going to need this color. So here, I replace it for you. So those things, like that anticipation of needs, I think for both of us are big.
I like that.
Yeah.
The anticipation of needs. So I think it's a lot, like people are saying in the comments, they're saying communication, all of that takes communication. So it's really listening. And I like Kev when he said that it changes over time. So how, I'm going to segue into growth in your marriage. How have you guys adjusted from initially getting married and being these young people to, 5 years you've changed, and then 10 years you've changed, and then 15 years, and then 20 years. I think the reality is I think that's a myth that you really stay the same during your marriage. You evolve to a new person, a newer person. You're always ever changing. Does anyone want to chime in on is that Jamie? Okay, Jamie, you want to chime in?
This is just real talk. One of the things that this is great and all, but one of the things that we got to make sure that, and I want everyone that's listening, please don't fall into the trap, because two of these people right here, two of the couples, they're two of my favorite couples. Like I said, I just met Steve, Sharen, Sarah. So but Candy, Kev, and Ron and Sharen, those are our people. Those are people but we have to be careful that people don't look at us, because we hear all the time, you guys are our favorite couple. As many times as I can, I try to stress how imperfect we are as a couple. Because people, they look at you and they say, oh my God, they just really have I promise you, we don't have it all. And one of the detriments of our society is social media, because we see what's going on, and what people are portraying is not their reality. But to get back to your question, something that happens to every single married person, I don't care who you are, everyone experiences what's called the violation of expectations. And what does that mean? I have in my mind before I get married what I think marriage is going to be. And she has in her mind what she thinks marriage is going to be. Yeah. And those things could not be further from what reality is.
This from here, from California to Jersey.
I mean, and you get married, and then after a short period of time, you realize, you said, this isn't what I signed up for. And those expectations that you had in your mind are violated, because I thought that, I said this last night. I said, Chelsea, I expect you to be barefoot and pregnant, taking care of the kids after you get home from work. Right. So, we want all those things. So we had this expectation. I'm sure that she expected me to be this knight in shining armor that could just fix anything and just be handy. And then she married like, this dude doesn't have a handy bone in his body. Hey. But you evolve, and like everyone's talking about communicating, and you grow, and you begin to learn and listen. So don't get caught up in what you see is going on. I say all the time, when it comes to fixing stuff in this house, I hold the ladder for my wife. I'm like, what do you want it over here? And I hold it as she's up there drilling stuff. Yeah. And she's drilling stuff, but that works for us. Right. So don't get caught up into like these 5 love languages. You have to fit into these boxes. It's whatever works for you. When you talk about finances, people talk about you should have one account. No, whatever works for you, and if that works, that's what you do. So that's what goes. Once you get by your violations being violated, and you realize what this thing really is, it's really about evolving and growing, because this thing changes, and it won't stay the same.
And giving yourself room to grow. Go ahead, Chelsea.
One thing I want to add, you talk about change. So when we first got married, I shared, and I'm very close to my mother. I share everything with my mother. I tell her everything. If we were fighting, I would tell her that. And I realized early on, what goes on between us has to stay between us. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with, friends or family not probably giving good advice or not, but it has everything to do with my vows are to him. We have to work this out. We have to figure out a way to do things together. So I grew that way, knowing like, you know what? We are in this together. We can handle this. I don't need outside help. It's just you and me. Mm-hmm. And that was it. That's all I wanted to add.
I think Chelsea, you kind of like hit it spot on with us as well, because I was just listening even to Jamie and to Jamie, Chelsea, and to Sharen pose the question. The truth for us is that we were so young when we got married. We like literally 21 and 19, and we were still growing up. So we had, for me, the honest truth was, I knew a whole lot of what I didn't want. I didn't know what I necessarily wanted, but I knew what I didn't want. Like I saw other people's, like in the, maybe in your family or friends or in the church, you saw their marriages. And I'm like, I was very clear about what I did not want.
Right.
Okay. And so we were literally still growing up, because at 21 and 19, we were young, dumb, and broke. So and then, you know, we were having kids. So our kids were growing up with us and growing through. It was so funny. Like the last time all of our family was together, and we do this every couple of years, we apologize to the kids. Like, yeah, we were young and we were young, and y'all grew up with us, and we made some fumbles, and I might have dropped you, but we almost left you at Nana's house. But the other thing that we knew, kind of what Chelsea was saying, was that but for different reasons, people were at our wedding telling us, I give y'all 6 months. I give y'all 6 weeks. I give y'all 6 days. And so what that did for us is that bonded us closer together, because it was us against them. You know, so at one point, honestly, our marriage, being young and dumb, was driven on, we have to prove them wrong. And then it shifted to forget them and their expectations, you know. And the truth about that matter, and I would like to be able to say, oh, that happened in 1 year. No, that we switched our conversation like maybe 4 years, and like, some of them aren't even married anymore. So now it's kind of like, what do we want? Like, what do we want? And what do we want for each other? And what do we want for our kids? Because there's a whole nother, talking about different evolutions. There was us being young and dumb, then us kind of getting a handle of it and finding the groove. And then it was interrupted again when we became empty nesters, or we have now grown adults that we literally talk about evolution. We had to go through the phase of, like, once all of our kids were grown, well, what do we like? What do we want?
Because that is part of the growth.
And one of the things I'm just touching really quickly that Jamie said is, one of the things that I hate to hear people say is couple goals. Because you don't know what that couple had to go through to get, or nor do you know what they're going through presently. One of the biggest mistakes I made is when getting married at such a young age, I looked for examples of marriages and would follow what other men would do for their wives. Understand, I wasn't married to their wives. I was married to Candy. So what might have worked for their wives didn't work for Candy.
That's real talk, Kev.
I had to learn, you know, hey, wait a minute. I can't focus on what other couples are doing. I have to learn what works for her and works for me. And I think a lot of times people make that mistake by saying, I want to be couple goals, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to, you know, all of that kind of stuff. You just got to learn to what works for your household. And then don't let anybody influence you how to treat your own spouse.
Ooh, come on.
What you have home.
Say it again, Kev.
Come on. Don't let anybody influence you how to treat your own spouse. I'll never forget this one time. We were out somewhere, and me and my wife was we might have had like a disagreement or something, and somebody that was single, ain't even have a man, pulled her to the side and said, you should never disrespect your husband and tell him he's wrong in front of people. Now, at first, I was like, hey, you better not ever do that again. But I was wrong. I was totally wrong. But what happened was, instead of her allowing me and Candy to figure it out, it made a wedge between us because I agreed with another woman. And that caused other issues.
Right.
So, and my response was, when you get a boyfriend, then we can possibly begin to have a conversation.
Because now we got problems. You agreeing with her? He ain't got no man. How you listening to her?
And then it created other issues. So I realized, like, hold on, Kev. So as you evolve in your relationship, as you get older, you become wiser. Now there's some old fools. Don't get me wrong. There's some old fools still doing craziness. But as you evolve with your partner, you have to learn each other and learn how to adapt. One of the things I will say is, as we get older, we are going to change. When my wife was asking me some of the questions, she said, "So how do you deal with it?" I said, "I can't expect you to adapt to my change, and I don't adapt to yours."
Right.
So like I have to. Too much is given, much is required. I'm not the 19-year-old dude that used to go all night no more. So I have to be. I'm not. It's 100.
You say what now, Kev?
I'm not the 19-year-old dude to get all.
You better take these.
You better take these
5 good.
Hold on. But I know where to touch at now. I ain't got to go all night. I know how to get to the point.
Get you there. Now,
But you understand your partner.
But that's the reality, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I was younger, you know what I mean? When I got married first, it's because it's my second marriage, as we all know. And I got married, I was 22 years old. So I was young, dumb, you know what they say. And I'm like, so I'm like just in this whole marriage thing. And I was totally lost because my first wife, she was 5 years older than me. So I'm like, okay, how do I do this thing? You know what I mean? So what am I getting myself into? And I'm like, so like you were saying, looking at other people and stuff, seeing how their marriage.
Try to emulate people.
Try to emulate other people and stuff, see how they do it. Okay, how we going to do this? Then go to church, listen to the pastor and stuff there. Say, okay, well, he's saying do it this way. And, and so I was like confused. So what I did, I just worked, and I mostly stayed away from him. Wow. As much as I could, because I was still learning this thing and I was young. And, so like we were talking about it earlier, the church was my mistress. You know what I mean? And I worked like 60 hours a week. I was a church administrator. I was traveling all over the country, just doing all kinds of things. So I was putting everything and anything before our marriage. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about earlier. And I had to learn. And that was just immaturity. And then, like you said, you evolve. And then, you figure it out. The first 5-10 years, you're different than the second 5-10 years. And then
absolutely.
Every 10 years, something it's a whole different.
It could be next week for me because next week I got something else going on.
Right, and then, so she might change. Right, thinking that
I need you to shift and move with me.
Now she want a modeling career. You know what I mean? Now she wants.
That's not what he's saying at all.
I'm just saying it changes.
So Steve,
she's not the same person I married from the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I met her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's been like 17 years we've been together, 15, 16 years married, and she changed as well as myself. So you don't stay the same. You just adjust in your marriage and stuff there. So you have to learn that, like her successes, I learned different things. Her successes are my successes. My successes are her successes. Okay. You should, just different things and stuff I learned along the way, and things, because things change for good and some change for the bad, but you adjust.
Yeah, you adjust. Steve and Sarah, you want to comment?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, everything everybody said was really good. And I just wanted to say that for us, we got married young as well. We both was 20. We actually waited. I actually waited till Sarah turned 20, and she was 19 when we was dating.
Well, that was nice of you.
I was going
it just went on with
it. Robbing cradles.
Yeah. But I can truly say the first 8 years of our marriage, if I can say this, be blunt, was hell.
Yes.
Listen, what did he say?
Where's my keyboard? I'm gonna go get my organ.
Because of the fact that we listened to what everyone else was saying, looked at my wife according to what everyone else said about her instead of what I knew who she was, and I let everyone else's opinion about her affect how I looked at her.
Wow.
And it was crazy. And until the point where in 2020, it just fell apart. And we were separated for, I think, 4 months, if I can be honest. 4 or 5 months. And we both were in 2 different places trying to find ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we didn't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And just like Jamie said, I believe, he said about those violations of those expectations. That's what happened. The first 8 years, all of our expectations got smacked upside the head.
Right. Your expectations from other people.
Yes. And not only that, what I was expecting from my wife, I was expecting her to be this evangelist and everything else. And she said, look, Joker, I'm not no preacher.
Now hold up now.
Listen. And I was putting all these unneeded expectations on her, and it just got too much. And then now, after we got back together, it was like we literally rededicated our marriage, and really, we just started living again, you know. And I thank God for that. And now we're starting. We know each other better. We care about each other better. I'm telling you. Yeah. Those first 8 years, I wish I could throw them in the trash.
The growth, though. Go ahead, Candy.
In those rough years for us, I think this comes full circle back to the first theme we were talking about. Our pastor, so many times when couples are having problems, they go to their pastor, right? Our pastor was his dad. So I didn't even feel like that wasn't a safe space for me. But I will say his dad treated me like his daughter from day one. So all the times it was, what my son do to you? And, you know, and things like that. But that was the first group of people we had to cut out, was his mom and dad, because they were too embedded into as mom and dad, as first lady and pastor. And if, you know, we were having issues around, like, you know, my husband was young. All he wanted to do for the first 5 years is have sex every day, 3 times a day. Like, it was.
Who did that?
Him. He wanted to be like that.
Say what now? 3 times a day, every day. My
God. And you know what and I was just like,
I can wait.
Going deep, right? This is going deep, right? Isn't it? No, beyond. What's it called?
Beyond the surface.
Beyond the surface. And it was like my husband, he was again younger than me, so he started reading Cosmo when they was giving Karma Sutra tips and stuff like, and wanted to try stuff. And I was just, and one time I almost died. And
did you have a good time? No,
well, did you not? But no, seriously, and that became problematic because by that time we had 3 kids, because he was sexual stuff. And so, you know what, my husband was like, okay, we're just not going to talk to mom and dad about our problems anymore. Because I went to his dad and I was like, okay, as my pastor, you need to know that my husband just wants to have sex all the time and I'm tired. And he was like, whoa, you know. So we really didn't have that as a go-to for us, to be quite honest. And so it forced us to try to figure it out and to work with one another, because divorce wasn't an option, and both of us were too stubborn to separate, you know, to even live in another space. But yeah, those first, I want to say 7 years.
Yeah, the growth. Sarah, you want to tell us about the growth for you in the marriage? We didn't hear from you. What you saying? You're on mute.
Well, for me, first, I wanted to say, when we first got married, I was like, it's a fairy tale. I want this, I want that.
Right.
I wanted a big proposal, everything. He took me warm daddy's like, marry me. I said, what? No, that's not the way. I want this big engagement. My family got to be here.
Oh, God.
But we grew.
Well, they got good cornbread, though.
Yeah, we got good. Yeah. She said they got good cornbread.
Cornbread. Yeah.
Yeah. Family way.
The thing is also, I think Candy was saying something there about going to. I would say this about I bring up finances a lot because that's really key to a lot of marriages, like this whole financial thing. And in this thing in general, if your spiritual leadership, if all they're saying is pray about it, move on, and not giving you tools,
right?
If I'm struggling with my finances, you just tell me to sow a seed and pray about it without teaching me, sit me down and show me how to budget, you're in the wrong place. But in terms of that evolution, I'll just be transparent about us. Some of the toughest times in our marriage is the first month.
Knew that.
We said, how does the no thing work? We can like get out of the thing.
Man.
Our first month, and what saved our marriage up front was Jacob.
Yeah.
She got pregnant.
Immediately.
Yeah, because we was like, yo, we don't want to do this no more. And then and this is real talk. We didn't make it through COVID.
Wow.
It wasn't because we had COVID.
And it wasn't because we didn't have COVID. We established the flow. This goes into that being able to evolve and being able to grow. We had a flow. See, me and my wife, we love each other, but we can't spend too much time together. A lot of times, here's ironic. A lot of times our arguments happen on vacation.
Yes.
Because we're with each other all the time.
Right.
So we get to that point, it's like, you know what? I'm tired of this. so the way we work, I work in New York. A lot of times I was getting up, going to work, going to rehearsal, and coming home. And that was our flow for a long time. So when we saw each other, we was happy to spend time with each other.
Absence makes the heart grow.
Yeah. So when COVID happened to shut the world down, and we're just sitting here, you know, and what I learned, we started talking about divorce. We almost got divorced during COVID, and I knew it was mostly my fault because she had been managing this house forever. And then I come in, start incorporating my opinions. So she's going,
you've been here for 30 years. Where you going? Why are you in here touching my stuff?
Yeah, she went go shop. Oh, I ain't got nothing to do. No rehearsal. Let me go with you. So I'm like, why are you buying that?
That's my private time. When I grocery shop, that's my private time.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And then she said, I ain't gonna tell you the word that she used, but she said, Ninja, this would be the last time you come shopping with me again. And so going from a place where we're doing this to being here, we had to learn how to coexist in an environment where we were spending an awful lot of time together. And that's just learning how they evolve. Because y'all almost was like, Jamie and Chelsea broke up.
Yes.
What happened?
I was out.
Well, even to piggyback off of that, me and Ron were having like a really bad disagreement one time. And I text Chelsea and I was like, I'm about to kill this nigga in this house. Like I'm over it. It wasn't even me. Was it during COVID? I don't even know. Maybe it was the COVID bug. I don't know. But I will tell y'all what, these are the type of friends that we have. Jamie and Chelsea, we didn't even know they were coming. They pulled up on us, came to the house, pulled up. They was like, we here. What's wrong? What's going on? Let's talk about this. Because they knew it was serious and they were like, you guys are good people. You guys are good together. Let's sharpen this iron. Right. And let's figure this out. I love that about like our relationships.
Let's go over there. Let's go.
It's so crazy because, and this is a perfect example of what we've been talking about all along. Do what works in your marriage for the sake of your marriage. Because quite honestly, we were kind of where y'all were before COVID. COVID brought us back together. Like COVID had the exact opposite effect on us because we didn't have the outside influences and, outside people saying things like, maybe my girlfriend saying things to me and his boy saying things to him. It was just us in this house. And to your point, Jamie and Chelsea, we can't be around each other too long. So it was but we never had to say. We fell into this rhythm of Kevin would go down in the living room and I would just like be in my home office
right.
We never even had to say it. It was like, okay, I need space. And he's like, oh, the kids would come out. Where's mommy? Oh, she needs a space. She's upstairs. And it's not that I said it, but he knew it.
Yeah.
So COVID helped us it was like level setting and it kind of a restart for us.
Wow.
We begin to learn each other. For us, we learned each other's, I think, our dance. And I think every couple has to learn their dance, learn what their rhythm is. And once you begin to learn what the dance is for your partner, you don't have to say too much. You can automatically feel it and adjust accordingly. But it takes time to get to that place. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something, sometimes it can be instantaneously. But then you got to be able to, like I said earlier, adjust to when the change happens. It's funny. I was laughing the other day. My wife now, You would never know her age by looking at her, but she's at the age where she has personal summers.
I wouldn't even know that.
Can't you too?
Get out of here. I'm so shocked.
Yeah, call me if you need help. I'm starting the support group.
Absolutely. So if it would be before, I would always be hot. So I would have the fan on. I have, the air conditioner on high. Now it's the opposite. So we've learned to adjust. So now I'm under the cover and she's freezing everything out. And we learned to adjust. And nothing had to be said. We just learned to adjust and learned our rhythm. It's a lot of different things that I can talk about, but learning your partner's rhythm is very important. And it takes sometimes not saying stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of times,
exactly.
Communication, you got to communicate everything. No, just sometimes you got to be quiet and observe. And once you observe, you're able to kind of adapt and say, okay, I see what she needs, or I see what he needs.
Wow.
I'm not trying to, because a lot of times I think we try to fix things with words.
Right.
And sometimes if you just observe and then make the necessary adjustment, is more impactful than you saying what you want to do.
And like I said before, men were thinkers. You know what I mean? Women are emotional feelers. So they're feeling everything and stuff from the inside. And men, we address things from the outside. So we think, like you said, we think we can fix everything. Any problem, everything, we just look at it and say, oh, we can fix it. But communication is the key. You have to speak your feelings. You have to, if there's no communication, there's no relationship. Sometimes it consists of talking. Sometimes it consists of touching.
The silent treatment.
The silent.
Like Kev said.
A quiet look sometimes, but you have to listen. Listen and pay attention to that person. Even when they're not saying nothing at all.
Yeah. Do you guys have any tools that you use for communication, like to communicate effectively to tell the viewers how you guys have been married past 10 years and praise God, we made it over all our humps. So what tools have you learned to communicate? Like what's something you can share that helped you communicate better in your marriage?
It's just for the most part, and I hate to generalize, but we're just men and women we're different for a reason, right? Like most men, but I'll speak for myself, I'm a bottom line dude. You know what I'm saying? I really don't want details. And it frustrates her sometimes. Like, how was work? It was work, and you're not gonna get too much because I like leaving work at work. And I know that I have to be a listener. Like, what, girl? She said that. Shut up. Word. Oh, wow. I know. I know that I have to do it because most guys, let me help you women out there. Most guys, only time we really want details is if something doesn't make sense to us. You say, look, I'm going to go shopping. I need $200. Take it out the account. We don't need details. But if you say you need $600 for a pair of sneakers for the son, now I make details because that doesn't make sense to me. So just learning how we communicate differently as different species. I don't need a lot of details. Just give me the bottom line. I know that I have to be more elaborate and with Chelsea, like, yes, baby, this, that. What was she wearing? I don't know. Do you believe that she came out here with her hair looking like that, babe? Shut up. I couldn't believe it. I saw my.
I don't even say that thing. I don't know who you're talking to, but that's not me. All right, so we're going to talk about tools. This is not necessarily a tool, but maybe it is. When I'm speaking with Jamie and I need him to understand something, repetition is key. So that means if I need you to be at this particular place at this particular time, I will tell you a month out, 2 weeks out, 2 days out. And then on top of that, what she hates, I will actually put it in his calendar. So it can never be, you don't know. I've communicated this with you several times.
And it's the balance between, and I think she struck that balance between gentle reminders versus nagging.
Right.
Because guys, we don't like being nagged.
That's good though.
I heard you, but so she strikes that right balance. Hey, you remember I told you about a month ago? I appreciate gentle reminders.
Because that's learning your person though. Okay, they need a month reminder. So let me put something in their calendar and then let me just keep giving them little crumbs. So that way when it works up to the day, you already know what it is.
Exactly.
So
that's good communication. Go ahead, Candy.
One of the things people always talk about is communicate with your partner, communicate with your partner. And people somehow always equate that to talking. Communication comes in different forms. There's verbal, but then there's also nonverbal. One thing that Kevin and I learned about each other is that nobody ever told us this part of communication is don't force your partner to communicate you can't make them communicate under duress, because then you're provoking them, and maybe they may say something that they really may not mean, but they're maybe feeling attacked or forced to come up with
that's me.
So this whole, my husband and I, again, everybody, the disclaimer, do what works for your marriage. But for me and Kevin, you always hear, don't go to bed mad. Me and Kevin have gone to bed upset with one another many a day, and we're still here to talk about it. So, we had to unlearn everything.
Because that's the myth. Don't go to bed mad.
But sometimes and I had to learn for me, and I think this is a part of my evolution. It was a part of Kevin's evolution. Don't force the conversation, or when it's starting to get heated, don't feel the need to engage. All right, wait, let's table this for right now, because clearly we're not seeing eye to eye, and it could go bad, and things may be said. So let's pick this up. The only thing that I have to
somebody said it's the safer way to go to bed and be mad and not get that out.
But sometimes I have to. The one thing is, though, so that the one party doesn't feel like, they weren't heard or the communication was down. If you, sometimes I have to remind Kevin about this. If you say, babe, I can't talk about this right now, we can talk about it later. Be true to your word. Like if the later is the next day or the next week, don't let it go beyond that, because then that person's going to feel like, oh, it wasn't important to you. Like I told you made me feel this way and it wasn't important to you, or whatever the case may be. But the biggest thing I think for us is throwing away all the myths, because this is myths and reality. Because the reality is some stuff, our marriages are not sitcoms. Everything cannot be solved in 30 minutes. Sometimes it's 30 days. So it's understanding, being wise and discerning enough to know when, okay, let's stop this conversation right now and pick this up later.
And I think that what happens is, how people used to always tell you, don't go to bed angry at each other. Don't go to bed until you resolve the issue. What I realized is, following that lead or that particular myth created liars. I lied to you because I was tired and I didn't want to deal with this right now. So begin to lie to each other. So now your relationship is based off of lies. And then you say it's no coming back. It's like, well, you said last night before we went to bed, you were over it. No, I did that because they said don't go to bed angry. I was still upset. I just wanted to go to sleep so I don't fall asleep at work. So I think that really have to stop and say, does this make any sense? Like, if we know we're not going to resolve this right now, do we sit up all night and just look at each other mad?
For what?
Now if you have sex and just forget about it, that's something different. Then I go for it. That's why you get up, but it works for you. So it's just all about how you navigate through your relationship. But I definitely do not describe to that. Don't go to bed angry, because sometimes
everybody's house and everybody's household is different. Like you said, everybody's house. What works for us may not work for that person next door. So don't look at us. And then and
but everybody is really saying they go to bed angry because it works.
Yeah, it works.
Trying to clean it. You're giving your partner space to deal with their feelings. So that has been the myth that we have debunked.
She's silent. She's sitting there.
I don't want to talk about it.
And I'm sitting there walking around the house waiting for her to say something. And
nothing.
To give me room so I can get out when I need to get out, because I need to get it out.
Not today.
And then I have to wait.
Not tonight.
She's not even listening. If I even try to talk to her
at all,
she's not. So I have to learn. Okay, I gotta wait. Okay, until it's the right time.
Wait until I want to receive what you have to say, because if you give me what my spirit is not right and is vexed, and it's going to be, and I don't want to speak in anger and say things that I don't want to say. Will I mean them when I say it? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't want to speak from a place of anger and hurt my husband, because that's not what I'm trying to do.
And you have to learn it. We had to learn together when we did hurt, or when we was like, we had a situation where we were arguing and somebody got there. We had to learn. I had to really.
It's that learning curve. Wow. Steve and Sarah was in. It's that learning curve.
You were saying things like, "Oh man, you talk to me this way, and I'm the one that you love. You know, I'm your heart. I'm your everything. But yet you're looking at me like I'm some crazy man.
Talking to me like a nigga on the street.
Talking to her like a
like, what are we doing here?
We can say that.
That's the reality. No, I think people think we be in here and it's cookie cutter. It's not. We really be going. We used to go at it.
Yes.
Had some verbal. Go ahead. You want to say something?
No, and I'm telling you, we had to learn. I had to learn my wife because she's not the talker, and I am, and I talk all the time. And I'm telling you, we would sit up sometime. Well, I would sit up almost till 3 o'clock in the morning, just trying to pry it out of her. Come on, let me know what's going on.
Losing good sleep.
Who are you telling?
She just
wake up with the wall. And and so now we know, so I'll say I know. Just let her be, and when she want to talk about it, and then we can have a more productive conversation and get somewhere with it.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all know
How did you feel like about that, Sarah?
What she said?
How did you feel like when he would try to pry the information, or just want to continue on with the disagreement?
I want to tell him, shut up. I'm gonna talk when I get ready. I'm gonna talk when I get ready. There's some stuff he would say will like hurt my feelings. I'll be like, you know what? I'm done. Just don't talk to me no more. This conversation's over. Right. Please just let me go to sleep. We'll talk about it later. But no, he's gonna keep on talking. I'm like, do you know what you're saying? Like, do you hear yourself?
Like, you can't hear yourself at this point.
But Sharen, it's so sorry, Sarah.
Go ahead.
Sharen, it's so funny because, and I'm not gonna lie, because we going, but what's beyond the surface. Sometimes, Kevin, when I get really amped, well, let me say this first. Kevin talked about knowing your partner's dance or the rhythm of your partner, everything like that. So Kevin knows as long as I'm talking, I'm rational. Once I stop talking, all bets are off. Like once I'm sitting there, like it's not so much a silent treatment. It's more like I am really using all of my strength not to snap all the way out and things get volatile. So when I stop talking is when Kevin gets concerned. As long as I'm talking, he's like, oh, she's gonna be all right. But then there's also times where, because this is going beyond the surface, Kevin has said to me, come here. And he's pulling my, my pants or my sweatpants or whatever, trying to look down my pants. I'm like, what are you looking for? He's like, your testicles, because you up here, you must be, you talking to me like you a dude right now. You like that? Do you have balls? And I'm just like, and when he said it, it stopped me. The first time he said that, I was like, oh, I guess my phone was a little rough. He's like, yo, it's fine if you want to talk to me like that, but when I come back, you gotta be able to take what you given. Because right now you giving me testicle energy, and I'm about to give it back to you.
That's one thing I always say to her. If you're gonna talk to me like you're one of my homies, then when I respond like one, then don't be like, oh, I'm a delicate flower. No, you.
Yeah, that's my line. Me too. I'm a delicate flower. Y'all can't tell right now, but I'm a delicate flower too.
Exactly. You press the button for the beast to come out. Now it's here. Now you're gonna have to deal with it.
Looks like Sharen.
Huh?
Sharen said she was a delicate flower. I said that looks like Sharen.
One of the things that I'm realizing
now is
the silent treatments. So it gets to the point where you'll give each other the silent treatment, and then after a while you're like, I forgot what we was arguing about. I'm gonna just ask something really stupid.
Like what the preacher was in the kitchen when you last checked?
Yeah, something stupid like that. Like so you really never resolved because you never like that argument wasn't even worth it. It was just
figure out later. Like
in a lot of times,
one thing I wrote down 3 things. It says when you have a disagreement, and you're and if you have a different disagreement, 3 things you should try to remember. If you try to disagree fairly, I said it's not about winning. It's not about winning. Okay? Right. You're in this relationship. You're in this thing to win it. You're not in this
together
to stay together forever. You know what I mean? Because that's it. That's the bottom. And then people have to know when you get married, you're not running for a finish line. Then when I get married, okay, that's it. No, because life begins again. You're with a partner at this time, and it's different. So you have someone that's involved. Number one, both people should keep at a certain volume. Like I think that would work. If you try to go higher than me, I'm trying to go louder than you. You trying to get louder than me. We ain't getting nowhere. Okay. So
we got somewhere, all right.
Pick a number.
But the only thing I would add to that,
y'all have to agree. we're gonna go to 5 or 6. You can't go higher than that. I can't go higher than that. We have to keep our tone because you keep your tone.
I go silent, so I'm on 0.
Apparently, I go testicle level.
Again, it's up there. Okay, and then also it says never call your spouse out of their name. Don't call her out of her name. When you can be mad as I don't know what and everything, but she's still your precious gem. She's still your diamond.
Told you, Jamie, I'm a flower. I'm a delicate flower.
She's definitely the sugar that sweetens our tea. So we love her. So treat her like you love her, even in an argument. And number 3, don't involve other people, friends, families in your arguments. You ain't got time to call other people, ask other people, you know what I mean? Well, or go discussing anything outside the house. Whatever goes on in the household stays on.
I'm not going to say that I don't do that still, because if he on my nerves and he left and he went to the store, I'm going to call somebody real quick while he going and tell him he done got on my nerves. And then when you pull in the driveway, I'm hanging up. They don't got to say nothing. I just need a good listening ear. I don't need nobody to say nothing. I just need an ear.
And I agree with you,
Ain't
Sharen.
no dog. The dog is Jesus Christmas. Why you bring the dog up?
Could have been talking to her. Oh, listen, she's a good listener.
She is in doggy heaven.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That was the dog.
Your personal business with other people like that. You should not be discussing.
Another thing that we discussed, which was a good tool, we decided like we would have some pretty brutal. I want to call them brutal. They were brutal. We would really cut to the white meat. Like we'd be in here talking about moms and everything else. Like we were very. Oh yeah, it was
rough.
It was them first 5 years, honey. They took us down. We went through it. See, Steve, y'all know we went through it. It was some rough and tough years. But we made a vow to each other to say, let's not cut each other to the white meat. You know, if you get sliced and you go to the white meat is deadly.
Because you gotta live with this person. You gotta wake up to this person next morning.
Yeah.
You gotta be with this person. You gotta love this person. She gotta love you. Still come. The family members don't know what's going on in your family. People don't know.
They don't even care.
So you gotta.
So we just said that we would be much kinder to each other and nicer to each other. You know, act like we want to be married and stay together.
But
there's that
devil hurt me. I'm like, how am I hurting you this way here? I said, you the one that started this argument. But she's like, but you talking to the real me. My heart is hurting. And I didn't understand.
He was like, what heart?
But you know what? I think the one thing that's missing in the conversation is, and this is for, and we're still, you know, you're practicing this. When you're practicing it's gone. No one has attained this to the highest, you know, level yet. But being willing to own your part in the argument, the conflict, and when you know. Because I know when I was younger in this marriage, I knew when I was dead wrong. And honestly, when I knew I was dead wrong, that's when I would go in even more. Because I'm like, no, I got to win this one. Because he's going to realize I was really wrong.
Right.
But then talk about evolution. It's being able to, you know, saying, you know what? It's valid. What you're saying is valid. I was wrong. So maybe I just need to go sit, and this is how, you know, we talk. Maybe I just need to go sit in my timeout corner and get my life together because I'm really frustrated about something else. And you're the closest thing to me. So you're the target right now.
And the thing has to be also like.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, I was going to say it's the delicate balance because I had to learn because you give me the silent treatment. I'm like, threaten me with a good time. I don't need to hear your mouth anyway. So, and as we evolve, I was okay with this silent treatment, and this is real tough. Would you say, Candace, below this? Was it above?
Beyond the surface.
So I'm okay with the silent treatment until I get horny, right? So
I think it's over.
I think it's over.
So then it's like, and then she knows when that boy, because I remember one time we was fighting, and we probably went a week without talking, and she walked up the steps. I was coming down, said she's coming up, and she had these booty shorts on, right? And I'm like, oh, this argument is over. But in terms of the communication piece, right? I always say that a low impact conversation is always better than a high impact argument, right? So, because a lot of times what happens is that we're not communicating. What happened to Kenny Cat? So we're not communicating right. You're not telling me those things that are bothering you, right? And it's only a matter of time before that comes to a head, right? And then usually when you explode, it's over something small.
Right.
So I come in and why is that toilet seat there? And you flip off. You flip off, right?
Come on now.
You flip out. And in my mind, you're crazy because you're acting like that over a toilet seat, but it's not the toilet seat. It's the buildup that led to the toilet seat.
Yeah.
But if we had those low impact conversations prior to the explosion, I wouldn't think that you're crazy because I'm going to my home. Ron, you're not gonna believe this chick flipped out over a toilet seat, bro. The thing that she said my parents were married. The things that she said to me, she said I can't read well. She said she was last night. All the stuff she says, all this stuff, just because I left the toilet seat up, but it's not the toilet seat. It's because we didn't have those low impact conversations.
Right.
You're informing me what these issues were before it exploded.
Yeah, so true.
That's good. That's good stuff.
That's really good.
I mean, I think, and like I said, like some of our relational goals, I was saying, like one thing I was saying was we don't take for granted your marriage. This is for our viewers and stuff. It says, renew or make your marriage and your relationship fresh every day. Set goals, dreams for your marriage. Because relationships change. It's the reality. So you go from like your honeymoon to then you have children, and then after children you have an empty nest, and then you have retirement. So it's like all phases within your relationships up there.
Yeah.
And and you're sharing it with your partner.
Yeah.
I agree.
So true.
So how do you guys can I ask about love and respect? So does 15. Do women want love and men want respect? Is that a thing? Or is that like one of the myths?
I believe that's a myth. And that was another thing because, and especially in our marriage, it was always every holiday I was seeking to give Sarah everything, but it was never in return. And I was like, when we come back together, look, I got feelings too.
Come on now.
you know? And it was crazy because you don't hear that with men, and it was hard for me to get there because I'm like, I'm good. But no, when we came back together, it was like, look, I got feelings too. I want to gift every now and then.
Right.
Every holiday can't be getting you chocolate covered strawberries. Right. So I think that's a myth because guys, we have feelings too. And sometimes we don't express them. And sometimes we don't even say that we have that need for affirmation and stuff like that. But I believe it's true that we do. We do.
My thing is, I think we don't need to be drawing hard lines in the sand. I want to be loved and I want to be respected. And I know that she want to be loved and she want to be respected as well. And I just think it'd be like this. So I'm just supposed to love her and just to say anything I want to say to her. No, she requires respect as well. And she can't just respect me and then I don't feel the love. So I think that to a certain extent.
Right. I think hand in hand with that, you see a lot of people, and I'll say I've run into a lot of women who they're married and they don't feel like they need to respect their husband in public. And when I say this, I mean they're gonna dog them out. They're gonna say this, they're gonna say that to them. That is a problem. I mean, there's no way possible you should be speaking about your man in this manner. I mean, let's be clear, you married him. So how does that make you look? Like you're sitting there complaining about him. That was your choice. There's a billion other men out there. Hello. So it's like, don't talk badly about your man. Respect him, no matter what. Now you can have a problem with him and disagree and speak about that in private, but in public, I'll never sit there and say, "Oh my God, I can't stand this dude." Blah blah. Then I look stupid. So
yeah, exactly.
We need to do a better job, I think, of respecting their choice.
Yes. Candy and Kev, the question is it true that women need love and men need respect?
Well, I think both need both. I know
I just said before you came on, we lost you. Jerk. I think y'all need better internet. How about that?
It wasn't our internet, you jackass. Sorry, Pastor. I hit the cord.
Respect my man. I love him. See what I did there?
Candy, do you respect this man or the one with the gallbladder?
Yeah. Listen. I let my baby go on one. I sent my baby on one guy's trip to Vegas with Jamie and Ron, and he came with all his body parts. This man came back missing a body part.
Lord,
What stays in what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Leave that alone. But I agree.
Well, I was talking. Hold on, she asked me. So
that respect just went out the window there.
See what happened?
The question came from because they were saying that no happy, it said no happy or healthy relationship unless your wife feels love. Like you can't have a happy relationship. If she doesn't feel love, you don't have a happy relationship at all. If she's not feeling love and she's walking around, she might be faking it till she makes it, but she's not happy. And they said that a man is not, they said the man won't be happy unless if he doesn't feel respected. Then relationship becomes unhealthy. He says, if you, but that's where it comes in prayer time, with each other. And it says like 99% of couples that pray together stay together. And that's not just a quote.
Where you get this?
It's real.
Okay.
I just feel like for me, I'm gonna need the AP the never mind. I was about to come. I don't know. Let me just say what I want to say. I think for me, and we're not generalizing, right? So what works for me,
correct.
I need to be loved and respected, because you can love and not. How can you love me and not respect me? How can you respect me and not love me? Mm-hmm. So for me, they go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand.
Love
somebody just said that in the comments.
Are jointly fit together, because if you love me, but in public, we got back in when Chelsea was talking, but in public, you speak down to me, you're not respecting me. So then you're not showing love, to me, true love. So to me, I don't think you can separate the two because they are jointly fit together.
Agree.
I totally agree.
Kevin, before you answer, hold up for a second. If anybody who's watching have questions for the couples, can you put it in the chat, please, before Kev answers? So if you have any questions for the couples in the chat, can you put it in the chat so we can have those ready after Kevin finishes? Go ahead, Kev. Sorry about that.
No, you good. I think love covers all of that. Like Candy was saying, if I love you, then I'm gonna respect you. But if I don't have love for you, then I'm gonna treat you any old kind of way. I'm not gonna respect you. I'm not gonna do things. So I think the first thing is to lead with love, and everything else will fall right in place.
So we were talking earlier. Someone mentioned, I think it was Jamie mentioning that. And so Jamie, I don't want to get your words mixed up, but when you were talking about men and women are different, women, or maybe it was Ron. It was Ron, I believe. Women are emotional and men are, what was it?
Thinkers.
So I think that is an overgeneralization, because I think that part of marriage problems come in when you just think that applies to everyone across the board. Yeah. Because I think that we as wives do a disservice to our husband when we don't tap into their emotional side. I think that in some instances, I think that women can be the overthinker and the one that overthinks. Like we talk about evolution, and Kevin is very honest about this. As he's gotten older, he's far more emotional now. And it's like, I'm becoming less emotional, like, because I'm hot all the time. So I'm just less emotional.
Right.
And I'm thinking of how I can stop getting hot. But no, I think that's even an oversimplification of of gender roles, because we don't subscribe to, in our marriage, we don't subscribe to baseline, like just strict gender roles in our home. So we were a equal opportunity employer here. So like, especially when the kids were young, when the kids were really, really young, you know, I was more of that washing, you know, all
like
the
hands on
house and doing all the dinner or whatever. But as time went on and I was in grad school and like different things were happening, sometimes it was my husband cooking. That didn't take away from me being a wife or him being a man. But back to the emotional side of it, I think that sometimes we do a disservice to the marriage and to our relationship with our partner when we don't look at our husband as having an emotional side. I don't think that they need to be always led with their emotions, but we do have some men out there who are led by their emotions.
and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it creates, I think you have to have a safe space.
That's
if you want to have a spouse who's emotional.
You can't have everybody crying.
That's the best sex is when y'all lay in each other's arms and cry together.
I don't even know if we do that now. Like I was never the crier. I just go ahead, Kev.
Look at I'm looking at Jamie's face. It's never been that good that you after y'all just sitting there and it's just like.
You know that he gonna clown you about this later.
No, he ain't hitting it right. He just ain't hitting it right. That's all.
Yeah, see,
that's true. So you cry at. Let me get this right. Because I'll be able to go back and listen to this, right? So, Kev, just for the record,
I'm not doing this.
They did cry after.
No, I said. You ever heard of the song "We Cry Together"? See, you ain't into the old school stuff, bro. Like when y'all verdict.
I just want to get this. I want to memorialize what you said.
You didn't hear what I said. After we cried together,
baby.
Hold on.
That's what he said. They cried together. That's I like that.
That's good. Like, right. You heard this, right?
No, hold on. You're so connected.
Wait. Exactly. When you said ignore him.
So if you know what it, okay, so it's like when you go, because there's different so sex, the act of having sex, there's levels to it. Sometimes it's you satisfying your partner. Sometimes it's your partner satisfying you. Sometimes it's actually there's a book called Compassionate Couple, like read it. That was in my grad school book. But there are sometimes where it's just about getting down and dirty, but then there's also making love. So I think he's talking about in the making love part of it.
Is that what you're talking about, Kev?
And Boys in the Hood. You never get, you start crying and got the coochie.
I just tried to help you. But no,
now you got it, Jamie. See, there it goes. Put out, Jamie. Put out, brother. Come on, man. You got it.
Y'all done taught us something on this live tonight.
There's levels to it, and I think that that's what creates creates dynamics and creates a more enjoyable experience, because if every time you guys come together or we come together, it's just about hit it, all that's gonna do is give her a UTI, and it's not gonna be that enjoyable. But there's sometimes, and there's a myth that that people think that it's guy. Sometimes it's the woman that's like, yo, it can be about you tomorrow, but today I need you to lay it on.
So how do you communicate? Like, can we talk about communication?
You say that.
You just tell them.
You need to say.
No, hold on.
Well, she asked me how I communicate.
But what I'm saying is sometimes it's not a physical. It's not a communication. It's understanding your spouse's body. I totally understand where my homies are going, because I would have clowned my homie if he said the same thing. But until you hit your euphoric stage in lovemaking, and it happens, I'm like, it doesn't happen all the time, but when you hit that spot and it does happen, it's so amazing that you be like, nigga. No, see, it wasn't about that. We were in such a connected space,
right?
That I can't even explain it. We both literally start crying in each other's arms. It was that magical. I can't explain it. It only happened about once or twice, but it was.
Joseph's laughing at you. Look at you. See that?
That's all right.
You want to chime in, Steve?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it only happened once for us, but my God.
There you
Bro, I'm with you.
go.
I'm with you, bro.
Jamie Chelsea just looked at you like,
And Candy, he was checking for testicles. You need to check for
Stop it.
She knew what it was because they was watching.
You knew you were getting it.
No, but I really do think that, you know, sometimes, especially like I said, we were very young when we got married. And so at 19, that's all you know is pound, 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 pound. But as you grow, you understand that sometimes I know guys, it's hard for y'all to wrap your brain around it, but sometimes it's not about you getting off. It's about she had a stressful day. She came in and she may not have even talked about it, but it's like, baby, let me lay you down.
But taking care of your wife's needs, yes,
yeah,
and that's part of communication. It's physical. Yeah.
If that's what it is, if that's his love language,
it's her. It ain't about him. Candy just said it's about the lady had a stressful. That
so either way.
See what's going on.
Y'all don't understand. Like
I am stressed right now.
Stress line.
She came to the conclusion that she was emotionally unattached.
Tell my business. Tell my business.
We are beneath the surface.
She was the kind of person that was like, she wasn't emotionally attached to a lot. Like, so when I was looking for some kind of emotion from her, from something or something, you know, some kind of big thing that happened that was, you know, that was big in my life, or something that happened, I'm looking for you to like go all out. I'm looking for you to spread eagle. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's go, let's roll. Let's, you know what I mean? I'm like, or I did this, I did that. And the thing is, I had
like some reward.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I wasn't, you know, I mean, I didn't.
I know, hear me.
But Sharen, you're not. Ron is emotional. And where were we at? I think it was at maybe your birthday, and he was talking about you. He just started crying.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, because let me tell you, if I start crying, I don't care what it's about. Chelsea's gonna start crying. That's just.
I can't let him do it.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, she's about to start crying, and she's looking at him like, "What's up with you?"
I think it's childhood trauma. It is. We've reverted back to childhood trauma, and you people telling you don't cry. It's a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
So
it's so true.
We're working on it. I do be in here crying though. I go in the shower though, so I'm learning. I'm slowly evolving.
In a world
like Candy then.
But They is in the middle of the act.
I'm gonna jump in the shower with her.
No, so this is what I'm saying though. When you start to think about it, where else in the entire world should you be able to be your most vulnerable self?
Right.
Your most vulnerable self. And even for a man, that to like I'm saying something serious, but I was about to say something that's gonna sound funny, but I really mean it. Because you know, when he started crying, that made me want to put more effort into like, because I'm like, he's really showing me
his vulnerability. Yeah.
His vulnerability. And so that makes me appreciate him more. And that's sending a nonverbal message to me that I am his safe space.
Yes. So, come on now.
So where else in the world should you feel your most being able to be your most vulnerable, but with your partner?
Right.
Because at this stage, we've all with me and Kevin came to the realization once we hit a certain number, dude, I've lived with you the longest, more than your mom and dad. I now know you better than your mom and dad.
Yeah.
I'm the person who, like, you know, and he's the same for me. So it's like, if there's no one in the world that I can be the truest, show up as my truest self, it should be in my marriage, regardless if it's sex, regardless if it's we're on vacation, if it's even in an argument, if it's a good, I should be able to be my truest self.
See, we have to understand that.
My partner to be his truest.
And men have to understand that, because I had to understand that with Sharen, because you would say stuff, you know what I mean, for, you know, in that same thing. Remember, you used to tell me all the time.
What would I say?
You used to say, I mean, what Candy, I ain't gonna go into it. Go ahead.
But I will say this: that wasn't something that happened for us. Remember, everybody, like, we've been married for 30 years. That wasn't something that was in our marriage day one, year 5, year 7. that was something that was really, we began to, I know it's going to sound horrible, but it's beyond the surface. We really began to let the guards down around year 15. It's like, oh,
that is so true.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I think I'm here to stay. That's right. Look, you see how he looking at me? He know. There is always like a level of, for me, there was always a level of vulnerability of if I'm going to be as transparent and as safe. Is he my safe space? I don't know.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. So, you being my, yeah.
Yeah, because we went
because
through
one
that.
time
We went through for him being my safe space because I told him, if you cannot be my safe space, I do not need to be here.
And let me help.
Sorry.
Let me help y'all with something. And this is everybody out there listening. If you can't be that safe place for your significant, for your spouse, an outlet has to happen. So if I can't talk to you,
right,
and I'm leave that alone.
Right. And that space
has to be able to come to me and talk to me, because I know if I'm not giving her the outlet that she needs, she's going to find somebody to talk to.
She's going to find it somewhere else. Correct.
That is real.
You want to say something, Steve? After
sorry.
No, that's good. I was just agreeing. Yes.
And once that person is vulnerable with you, you cannot violate that because you set yourself back so far. Again, learn from us, young and dumb. You know, I shared a childhood trauma with my husband, and we had gotten into a big argument. This was like maybe 5 years in. We got into a big argument, and he weaponized that point against me. And I just stopped mid-argument and said to him in a calm voice, I literally wish you would have hit me. I know you're not a man to put hands on a woman, but rather than you saying what you just said to me, I wish you would have just punched me in my face, because you just pierced my heart, because that was something I don't share with anybody. Wow. And you violated my vulnerability and my trust. And that's what set us back to year 15, because that was like year 5. And I completely shut down all of the things that were close to my heart for another 10 years.
So Kev, how did you build that trust back that was broken?
So changing, one of the things I always say is when you violate a trust, the only thing that'll win that trust back is a changed behavior. If I can say all day, I'll never do that again, but let you press that button, I just might. So the only way to find out if you press that button again and my behavior has changed, I now understand that I can't hit those vulnerable places, that if you're going to give me something to hold and to cherish and to kind of, be that safe space, it's not for me to weaponize it, but it's for me to protect it and honor that. So for me, it was a changed behavior. It took time. I'm not even going to lie. It took her allowing herself to be vulnerable in certain areas and me earning that trust back in all of those particular things. So that takes a little bit of time, but the only thing is just going to be a change in behavior. That's the only thing. Apologies can go, they're just words, and understand that she's one that needs affirmation, that it necessarily she has to see a change in my behavior. So that's what I did. And one of the things that I'll share with you guys as well, even with, and then I'm glad you brought that up, even with that, sometimes even as men, sometimes we feel like because we have the weight of the world on our shoulders and our job is to protect you from certain things, we don't share everything that we go through, because we don't. Adding to the stress is you worrying now that I told you what's bothering me. And sometimes we won't tell you that, but when we can find that vulnerable place where we can share those, like, I got the weight of the world. Sometimes it's like, you don't want, as a man, we don't want to hear, how are we going to fix it? How are we going to fix it? Well, hell, if I knew that, I wouldn't be stressed. Like that's the whole reason I'm stressed. Sometimes you just need a listening ear, and for that female to just rub you and say, yo, we're going to get through this. It's going to be all right. That alone will make a man feel like Superman. And whatever he's going through, he'll figure it out, or he feels like just because he has that. So I said all that to say, And not only do men with the 5 love languages need that physical touch, because that's the first thing everybody assumes, but we also need that emotional support.
Yeah.
Men won't say it, but we need that emotional support.
Because you don't know what a man's been through in his life. This man, you know what I mean? You taking this man, y'all came from total different worlds. So you don't know what I've been hurt. I've been hurt by the church. I've been hurt, you know what I mean, in life and different things that happen.
It's a whole new show, church hurt. It's a whole different show. Wait, so can we segue into when we went live the other day and somebody recorded a segment of our live when I said that the pastor said that I'd never get somebody with my 3 kids. Somehow Facebook shows me if somebody records a clip of my live, and apparently that was on the clip of my live. So shout out to whoever wanted to record and go back and tell that I did say that. It's my facts, and there was witnesses there. So God bless you. I hope you have a good day.
I'm glad.
And it's not going back to the whole trust thing, right?
Beautiful children.
We have to.
Yeah, child chat. People crazy. I don't care.
We were on a podcast.
What'd you say? Jamie was saying something?
No, I was just saying when you start dealing with that trust thing, you have to first of all, you have to understand that I can apologize for something that I did, and you accepting my apology, that's immediate. But gaining the trust back is a process.
Right.
And the length of time is so subjective, and it also a lot of times is linked to how bad I hurt you, right? So I have to understand that if I'm trying to regain your trust, let's just have a real talk. If I cheated on you, right? And I cheated on you, I can't. And yes, you apologize. You say you forgave me. We're going to move towards gaining trust back. I got to understand that I can't be hanging out with Kev and Ron at midnight. Yes, I'm not doing nothing, but you have to understand that I did something to violate her trust.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm out, I'm not doing that. And a lot of times we'll get worked up. Why are you tripping? I'm out here with my boys. Nah, Ninja. You did something. Yes, she forgave me. You want to say you said you forgave me. Yeah, but regaining the trust, that's a process. And pretty much for the most part, I really believe in my heart of hearts that couples can get by anything. But it has to be, are we willing to collectively to put the blood, sweat, and tears that may have to go into us restoring our marriage or restoring our relationship? You know what I'm saying? Because yes, you say you forgave me, but we both have to work at this thing, because there's nothing more counterproductive than one person working and the other one's not.
Come on, say that again.
Because if we're trying to pull this yoke together and I'm giving them my all and you're not, I'm going in a circle.
Right.
Oh, that's good. Good illustration.
We gotta be at this thing together. So you say you forgive me. Yeah, I have to be sensitive to the fact that I hurt you, and it's going to take. I think Jake said this. He said, if I sit down on the chair, I'm just sitting down in the chair, and the chair breaks and hurts me, it's going to take a while before I can just plop down again.
Right. Right.
I'm going to approach it like this now, because and depending on how bad I got hurt, it's how long it's going to take me to be able to just plop down and just be comfortable and to earn that trust back. So
you have to let the other person, it's in their timing when they are comfortable again with whomever violated. You know what I mean? It's whenever I'm okay and I feel like I trust you now. You can't rush the trust.
Right.
I think trust is everything. If you don't have trust, you have nothing. I don't think you can love without having trust. Because if I don't trust, because every time you leave, every time you go somewhere, or every time we have a conversation, you know what I mean? If I don't trust it, you know what I mean?
I mean, you can earn that back. You guys agree? You can earn your trust back, right?
Because
if the trust is broken, then you have nothing, but then you can earn it back. That's what I think.
I think that, and depending on, and again, I don't like making generalizations, but so let's go back to that scenario I said about Kevin, right? He had to earn my trust back, but I still loved him. That's what kept us tethered together, was because the love was still there. So my trust was betrayed, but I still loved him. Right. And even when Jamie was saying, I remember at one point when I wanted to go to couples therapy, he wasn't about therapy. And so he's like, he didn't really want to go. And he was being a jerk while I don't even know if he went, but he was being a jerk whenever he went. And so I was like, oh, forget it. And time goes on and I just like shut down. And the thing that hurt him the most was he was like, do you even love me? And I said to him, I love you, but I love you like I love someone familiar. I don't love you like I'm supposed to love my husband.
Right.
I like somebody familiar.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And that hurt him very bad.
Right.
And I was like, and I said, I'd say that not to hurt you, but it does no good for me to lie to you. I love you because you're familiar, you're the father of my children, but that's where it is. And so he was like, oh, let's go to therapy. Let's go to therapy.
Now you want to go.
Yeah, now you want to go. And the therapist, and I sat there, and I was a practicing therapist at the time. And I sat there and she read my body and she says, okay, here's the thing, Kev. When a woman is sitting there like that, it's a lot. That's a lot. And you're going to really have to put some work in now, because once she is sitting the way your wife is sitting, she's really kind of just about made her mind up about where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted to add, Steve?
Sarah did.
Sarah did.
I just want to say it takes time and patience and definitely understanding and trust. All of them.
So go ahead.
Because we went through our time, and it really took us time to get back, where we needed to be. And I had to give my wife time to heal, and she had to give me time to heal, and you have to be considerate of the other person,
So what kind of tools did you guys use?
Those, go ahead.
No, I was
Help
gonna say,
rebuild.
To help rebuild your foundation.
Where you're at now to be
he
successful.
definitely was understanding. We both was definitely understanding of each other and gave each other time to not, he wasn't like overpowering talking, and he would relax and give me time to
I like that.
Yeah.
He gave you space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's important in a marriage, though, giving each other space.
And then
Like
also,
if you have a broken anything, or you have an issue, or you have some mistrust, or whatever it is, I like space. I don't want to talk about it right now. Give me a good 2 hours.
And I had to adjust to that. But you have that 80-20 rule. So that was
Not
break
in
it down.
effect.
What's 80-20? Break it down, Ron.
huh?
Break it down. What's the 80-20?
The 80-20.
I mean, my 80-20 was 80%. 80% was things I was looking for, things that I loved about her, things that I like to share, things that I enjoyed, that I wanted, that I asked God for in her. I was looking for. I said, let me say, if she could have at least 80%, because there's nobody perfect. There's no one perfect but God. So I said, if she could have 80%, then I could deal with the 20%. So sometimes, I said, okay, so now I had to say, okay, well, some of them things.
He said, wait, flag him, hold up.
It's 20%.
So you run down this
80%. And I'm like, wait, this is that. And I'm like, no.
I will say my 20% is pretty bad. My 20% is rough. It's a rough 20.
Into the 80.
Yeah.
Then it was like, okay, we got to revisit this thing, and but
we are really 80%. Like we've grown to 80%.
80 and higher. Other people, I think we're not.
We not.
No,
I'm not.
81,
I still have my same 20.
82.
I still have my same 20. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you and not lie to the people and the good reverend that's on here. That's what I'm not gonna do. I need to call them in case something happened.
Well, we don't have much time left.
Yeah,
because we gotta go. This has been so awesome. Like speaking.
You guys have had a lot of comments. Like people are saying they appreciate your transparency. Mm-hmm. They love the transparency and the realness of what marriage is and how you guys are showing like your vulnerability of marriage isn't it is the hype, but it's a lot of realness that comes with it, that it's so challenging. And it's the reward on the other side is great. Like Steve and Sarah said, them 8 years is hell. Mm-hmm. But the other side, once you learn to effectively communicate and show each other, like, I want to be in it, like Candy and Kev said, you know what? We're not going to do it for them. We're going to do it for us. We're going to do it for our marriage, because you can't have outside people coming in and disrupting what works for you. Because if God has put you together, he going to make it work.
Right. He going to make it
That's
work.
right. That's
That's
right.
us.
That's what we do.
Because
he put him first in everything.
Yeah.
I pray every morning.
Every morning. He calls me and he prays.
Other job every morning before we
Yeah.
on the way into work. I'm praying for her. You know, sometimes they go long prayers.
Sometimes it's long.
Yes.
He's trying to get an offering out. He trying to get a little offering.
It works. And it keeps peace in the house. And at nighttime, when I'm sleeping, before I pray, I lay my hands.
It sets the tone, though. I will absolutely say it sets the tone for my covering. Because when my man is calling me and he praying for me, I am relaxed and I'm ready to release and go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm protecting her. I'm not only protecting her physically, but I'm protecting her spiritually. You know what I mean? And I don't allow that spiritual work.
Because you pray for them demons at work.
I do.
He does, though. He be like praying for them people that they don't get on my nerves. Like that is the prayer. So it's a prayer of giving me peace and giving me strength every day.
Every day. Yep.
Yeah.
I have to cover her. We have to cover our wives
as husbands. Yes, it's important.
They help us meet the need. They're here for us.
Yeah.
So that's how God created.
Do y'all want to play the game real quick? Go. You want to say something, Steve?
No, I just wanted to say, yeah, we pray together every morning, and you know, it helps our day, and it helps us get through. So it's very important.
When I get saved, I'll pray for her.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's definitely been
right now. You just gonna play the order for the Lord.
There's definitely been times in the middle of the night that Kevin. There's definitely been times in the middle of the night, like I feel, but like how he lays hands on, like he'll put his hands on my butt or like somewhere weird, and I'm like, and he's like, I was trying to pray for you, and I'm like,
I can say too. I'm like, why are you touching it like that? I was like, I'm praying for you. Yeah, but Sharen, as we get ready to get into this game, can I just say this? One thing that I talk about when we talk about marriage, I just encourage couples. So like the women, when we're talking to our single friends,
2 minutes.
When we're talking to our single friends, don't just talk about the negative parts about marriage, because marriage is a beautiful thing. And there have been so many people discouraged by getting married just because of how they hear married people talk about it.
Yeah.
So be wise in how we talk about marriage too, because through the good and the bad, I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's beautiful. Marriage is beautiful. I love being married. I thought I was going to be single. Go ahead. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying that is so good, because, you know, marriage is honorable, and, you know, and this generation doesn't want to get married because of the negative things that they hear. But we are proponents. Look, I know we've been through a lot, but listen, this is the best thing ever happened to me.
I would say, if I could leave something with the couples, one of the things that we live, the rule that we live by, I have to identify what's truly and genuinely really important to her and make it important to me, and then vice versa. Her identifying what's important to me and making it important to her. And then last, don't make this thing. I know Kev's talking about how he cries and stuff when he
Pastor.
One of the biggest mistakes that happens is that we make this thing emotional all the time, and there's not a resource that's more real, not reliable than your feelings and your emotions. So this thing,
I like that.
This thing has to be intellectual as well. When we went through COVID, it wasn't just, if I went strictly on how I felt, I would have left.
Yeah.
But it was intellectually, so you know what? Ain't nothing out there in these streets. She's giving me the majority of what, even though I didn't feel this way, I had to let my intellect override my emotions.
I like that. I like that. That's how you have to be sometimes in marriage, because you said me. It's definitely you.
I was going to say everybody can say their last comments, but everybody spoke so well. I mean, throughout this, the whole thing, I mean, they already said their comments. So, I mean, this. Did
anybody have closing comments they wanted to give, minus what you just Kev wanted to say? Go ahead, Kev. You want to redeem yourself?
No, one.
Just don't cry, Kev.
I don't care about you, Jamie. Jerk. But what I will say is, one of the biggest things that I learned was, as a husband and as the head of my home, a lot of times I used to always try to figure things out on my own. It wasn't until I became in tune with God that he began to show me. He knows her better than anything because he made her.
Right.
So when I began to get in touch with him, he would guide me on what she needed, how to love her, how to care for her, how to protect her, and all of those things. So I encourage you, even men that are looking to become husbands, they are really looking for a covering. And Ron picked that up earlier. They're looking for somebody that can spiritually cover them. And sometimes she might be the covering, but she doesn't necessarily want to be. Mm-hmm. She wants to be covered by her husband. So when I got a prayer life, it really began to, it made me shut up. Sometimes I wanted to win an argument. So it made me say, okay, I'm gonna be quiet and just listen so I can hear what she's not saying. Mm-hmm. And those were that's what made our marriage where it is now and stronger. And I always say, people like, my wife is my best friend. And I always say, no, you're not my best friend. You're my wife. You're more than my best friend, because my best friend ain't gonna get what you get from me.
All right.
You're my wife. You're higher than a best friend. So this is my wife. I love her with every being that I have. Would give my life for her, just like Christ gave his life for the church. Now I tell her sometimes, shut up, because you ain't gonna get me shot out in these streets.
I know he is. Is that a tissue?
Shut up, Jamie. So that's all I got. All right.
I think the last thing I would say is, and we've heard it. Well, I want to say another last thing. The last thing I would say is
that was good.
We've heard it all, but it's really, really true, because this was something that we had to unlearn as being young. Marriage is not 50-50. I loved your analogy. It really is tension, because it's two people pulling on opposite sides. Correct. Sometimes it doesn't take from the man, again, tying in the vulnerability. Sometimes all he has to give on a day, or, a time in his life, sometimes it may only be 20 because he's having a rough time or whatever. And so you have to be that 80 wife. And sometimes all the wife can give is 30. And so that has to be the 70. And that does not take away from your manhood, your womanhood, you being a husband, you being a wife. That's why it's a partnership. Like you're in together. So just being really in tune with your spouse, to the point where, like Jamie and Chelsea were talking about, just anticipating their needs and partnership. And the one thing I had to learn the hard way is, it's God, it's your spouse, and then everybody else get in line. It's not God, your kids, then your spouse. It's not God.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's right. That's
a different show too.
And I had to learn it, because my husband had to call it out on me, because our oldest son, they went through a phase where they were butting heads, and I was like, that's my baby, like, you hold up. And he's like, Candy, hush. And I'm like, what? But it's true. It's God, your spouse. Everybody gets in line after that. So kids after that.
The pastor's a little bit lower than that.
Kids are going to grow up and move out and have marriages of their own, and they're going to want you to stay out of their marriage, but you done sacrificed your marriage and your marriage for them. So it's
Jamie and Chelsea.
Sorry.
Okay, because we got to move on. So Jamie and Chelsea, just a few last nuggets for those that are going to become married. What keeps your marriage strong and healthy? Just a few nuggets for a closing. What you want the people to know before we play this game real quick?
The one thing that I see now that we're empty nesters is that someone mentioned in regards to their spouse being their best friend, and I don't necessarily see that maybe as a bad thing. So with the boy being gone, we've sort of kind of reinvented ourselves with each other, and we're comfortable with one another because we didn't know each other prior to. We jumped right in, got married, had a baby. This is my best friend. This is who I bounce everything off of. He's my counselor. He's everything. Love her, all that stuff. But yes.
You gonna make me Kev.
Go ahead, cry.
I heard him. Oh God, Pastor.
That's good.
Is he my husband? Yes. But don't get it twisted. That's my ride or die. That's my best friend. You come against me, you're gonna face him. So yeah, that's it.
Steve, Sarah.
I like that you guys reinvented yourself after, you know what I mean? Because that's you're always the evolution.
And it's always changing.
Yeah.
Always changing. Yes. For the good. Steve, Sarah.
Yeah, we just really was able to communicate, and communication, really helped our marriage, and really being able to give each other grace to become who we need to be.
Oh, I like
she
that.
needs grace, and I definitely got to give her grace. And she's not going to be what I want her to be. She's going to be who God made her to be, and that's the best version for me. And I'm the best version for her.
What's our motto?
Better together.
Better together.
Good stuff.
Better together.
Wow.
I love that, Grace.
Better together.
Yeah, it gives you room to grow and to become yourself and to become a better version of
You have one of them summers.
You saw me
Y'all got
earlier.
we finna play the game.
Play the game real quick. We do have
So we got a quick game for those who are watching or still watching. God bless y'all. Y'all, we don't have nothing to give you, but we appreciate you continuing to watch. So you have does does everyone have a me and a you paper?
Yes.
Me and you, you and me. Look at the Reverend. Y'all are real official. While the other folks got crayon.
he got the church executive secretary.
Yes, he's all the above. That's me. All the above.
All right. Who was interested first? Y'all not gonna show y'all paper?
Where's your paper?
I don't have one.
You do have.
Oh, y'all said both of y'all said me. Both of y'all was interested. Y'all just seem like white.
Love at first sight.
Yeah, as soon as we see each
Oh,
other.
really?
We both wanted each other.
Okay. All right. I hear you. That was you. You was love at first sight.
Yeah. I chased her down.
Who gave the first kiss?
How do you give a kiss first?
Came in.
No, somebody leaning into it. You lean into it.
You. Put it up.
You, me, you.
See how I mean
You. Yep. Candy. Oh, Candy, you fast. Oh, Candy, you know what you wanted though.
Hey,
know what I
come
want.
here, Marcus.
Come and get it.
Okay.
Who is funnier? What?
Okay.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Jamie's funny.
Well, Jamie.
Jamie's just funny.
All day.
Who is the better driver?
You don't like driving?
Me. All these me's. You, me,
Okay.
you, me.
Yeah.
Jamie and Chelsea is both of them. They is me. I don't know why your paper up. That's because that's the Lord didn't want you to lie. Who is the better cook? Men could cook. You. Men cook. You don't cook. Kev said he cooking it up. Kev said he burning in the kitchen, and so did Steve.
Is there competition?
Who grills better?
She asked.
Yeah. I can make a mean baked ziti.
A mean one.
A mean one.
Ziti.
Ziti. You're gonna bring it to the barbecue.
Who is more stubborn?
Oh.
It is definitely me. Yeah.
Well, no.
Me, you, me, you. Ooh, 2 yous, 2 me's, and a me, you. At least y'all know each other. You, me, you.
Work that out. You work that out.
Who said I love you first?
Fuck.
You.
There she
You want to hear the story?
Kev. Me,
Uh-oh.
me, you. Y'all said it at the same time. Y'all, you know what? That love at first
You
sight.
want to hear the story?
We can't remember.
I think it was me.
What's the story, Jamie?
No.
And Candy, what you say, Marcus? Well, it was one of those experiences. And she died. Yeah, I stopped. I was like, what did you just say?
What'd you say?
He said, look, his toes curled, and that was all she wrote.
Next question, Sharen.
And then he was like,
Next question.
whoa, what just happened? What just happened here?
Oh my God. Next question.
Who? You funny, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Who is likely to apologize after the fight? Who is the apologizer? Jamie ain't even put a paper up. My God, I'm praying for you, Chelsea. He put a paper up. Steve is yes, and and Kev is yes. Jamie, you just ain't saying nothing, huh? You don't want to lie?
They're both
He put a
there.
blank paper up.
It's me
No.
and you.
You're not apologizing. You're not apologizing either.
I am apologizing. Eventually,
Hmm.
it's real hard, but I do it when I'm wrong.
All right, we gonna move on. Who takes the longest shower?
You definitely.
Me, you,
No.
you. Ooh, we got two yous at the bottom. The boys, both of y'all must be in the shower together.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then with that hot water.
That's the problem.
Who who likes to sleep the most? Who sleeps the most?
Oh.
I don't know.
You.
Uh-oh.
Candy and Kev, y'all got a you. Jamie, you don't sleep.
I've been in
Me,
some.
you. Oh, me, you. Why y'all got you-yous?
I get up in the middle of the night and I'll be up.
You sleep the rest of the day.
Jamie, I ain't thought you sleep. I thought you was like a vampire or something.
Nah,
I'll be up. I'll be up.
sleeps.
No.
He like Jamaican with all them different.
Well, why you ain't put me? Oh, you put you. Oh, Chelsea put you.
I got
Okay,
video.
never mind.
I got video of you sleeping.
I got video of you sleeping
I'm
too.
just saying.
Who spends the most money? Me, you. Uh-oh. Oh, everybody. Oh, not y'all saying the wives.
All the ladies.
Not you said you too? I see you, Sarah. You was going, you throwing it up on the corner.
And couples out there,
He likes
get
to
a
spend money
grasp on that.
Mm-hmm.
Get a grasp on that.
Understand it.
Who will spend it? Oh, I did that one. Who is most likely to be on time?
You definitely.
Me.
It depends on what it's for.
Kev is on time. Jamie, you on time?
He
It
wasn't.
depends on
ain't
what
on
it's
time.
for. It depends on what it's for.
Tonight he wasn't. Right?
You wasn't even out here when we.
I
Right.
can see Jamie on time.
Thank you.
He ain't on time.
That's right.
And our last question: Who snores the loudest? Because apparently
Oh
I'm in
my
there
God.
tearing that room up.
I don't care what he said.
Oh my God.
I don't care what he said.
He in there snoring it down. Kenny and Kev said you and Jamie.
I
So
can
how
hear
do
you. Y'all
y'all
want me to
hear
play?
each other if it's a you? Are you waking each other up?
Nope.
Do y'all wake each other up when you're both snoring? Like, how do you hear the other person snore?
I could wake myself up.
Oh, gotcha.
I'll make him snore.
You putting them to sleep. All right, I know that's right. Hey, sleep tight.
Yeah.
You said what?
That marriage been up
Night-night.
top. That marriage been up.
Huh, that's good sleep though. If we want to talk about it, my God, you be like
Yeah.
That's good.
going.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I know we went way past our time. However,
good.
you guys have definitely dropped a bunch of nuggets in here. You guys are some solid
Solid couple.
couples. I appreciate your
I have to say this, Sharon, because this needs to be said.
Yeah.
You guys are the benchmark,
Yeah.
man. And I just want to say
Yeah.
thank you guys for allowing us to come on and share. But there's a reason why we hate these couples hang out with you guys, man.
Yeah.
Because you guys,
thank you.
I know you guys are doing the hosting thing, but the world just needs to know that we hang out with you guys for a reason.
Yeah.
Because you guys are the
Thank
best.
you.
Yeah, we try to.
It's the iron sharpening iron.
We try to keep it real. I mean, I love this woman. You know, what I mean, I love the life out of her, and I can
Not the life out of me. If my insurance, that's why I gotta go change my insurance papers now. Look at this, recorded. So if something happened to me, he loved the life out me.
But don't try. No one, and I tell everybody, don't try to market their relationship compared
Yeah.
to ours.
Yeah.
We've been through what we've been through.
Yeah.
God has put us together for a reason.
And
Right,
everybody's
we're able to handle it.
different.
And everybody's different.
And it's okay.
And there's things you went through in your past, and even as a child, she went through that may come up later on and stuff there. There's things that I went through as a child and stuff there. All these things make us who we are today.
Yeah.
And God put us together for that reason because He knew that I could handle you, and you can handle me. Lord knows, there've been them days.
But we don't go to the white meat no more. We have been delivered.
Delivered.
We have been delivered. But thank you all for coming on. Delivered.
Yeah, we have viewers
For coming
all
on.
over We appreciate you from all over, from Texas, from
we got some Florida, some Texas who are watching. So we love you guys. We appreciate y'all coming on. Tune in next week. Next week we have Katrina Edmonds is coming on, and she gonna talk about boundaries in the bedroom.
Oh, Kev, you gotta be there. Bring your tissues.
Boundaries.
Shut up, you jerk.
He ain't gonna let you live that down.
I ain't worried about him. Look, I ain't worried about him.
You securing your manhood.
Absolutely.
I know. Ain't nothing wrong with little tears.
He only sent me to the emergency ward twice.
Nothing wrong with a little tear, a little emotional. That thing being there banging.
He's only sent me to the emergency ward twice.
Every Thursday.
Right.
Every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. to empower.
Yeah, empower, enlighten, encourage, and give some information and tools. So I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves.
I appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to be your guest host.
Yes.
On the show. Now I have to go back behind the camera. That's what
Producing.
That's where
all this production man.
It's going to take his.
director,
don't you push that button.
The emotional.
My God.
Everything.
Oh, Jesus. He don't listen. Did y'all hear?
And real quick, Sharen, congratulations to you. You know what? For the longest time, I was calling you Sharen.
9 years.
Had to tell me.
He had me calling you Sharen.
But listen, I want to say congratulations to you.
Her name is Sharen.
Thank you.
I thought it was.
But my friends, that's how I distinguish people. If you call me Sharen, I know it's from something with the government. If you call me Sharen, I know you know me. So that's what it is.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, got you. So I was right. So we want to say congratulations. You're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
I believe it's going to be great opportunities, greater heights for you. So I'm glad that you allowed us to be a part of your journey. So appreciate you.
Thank you. Boy, y'all better pour into me.
Because she's really humble. She's so humble all the time. You know, last night we were on a TV show, and it was awesome. God has blessed it. It was like I only had like maybe 300 viewers. When she got on there, it went to 400, 500, 600, 700. 800 viewers on there because my baby was kicking. And this was we was on Xfinity, we was on the internet, we was everywhere. And God is definitely blessing us. So y'all support
Steve
us.
wanted to say something.
I know. I'm gonna give you Steve. Definitely, he's the pastor. He got the clue.
I know that's right.
You've been trying to rap for the last hour. Doggone
it. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I just wanted to say that, and I just wanted to piggyback off of what everyone else said. Thank y'all for just being a model couple, as well as you're not doing this on your own. You're bringing those that you know with you, and you're giving others opportunity. And that's the way the Lord bless you, by bringing others with you. So we thank you for that.
Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Next Thursday.
Boundaries in the bedroom. How can we communicate? Get a little extra BDSM. Because I got questions. And I want to know, is the bed, where the bed undefiled at? Is it the bed? Ain't it the bed? It's outside the bed. It's wherever it's at. Where it's at.
Are your sheets your tissue when you start crying? Right?
Keep some tissues, but you're so rude.
We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Yes.
For coming on.
Thank you guys. We love you guys. Yes. Share, like, subscribe, follow. Be on the surface with Sharen. Thank you for tuning in. Love y'all.
We're gonna put you on the backstage, okay? Don't come out. All right.